Monsters are dangerous, and just now, kings are dying like flies.
I am the king!
Fuck the king. Knowledge is power.
Joffrey, Cersei, Walder Frey.
Welcome, everybody. It's Thursday, and it's the Showboys podcast, and I'm Pixel Nick. Joining me, Chadwick III, and ShowboysMedia.com, Mike.
Gotta remind them.
That's
Gotta
right.
remind them. Go to
Check
the
it out.
website.
It's freshly updated.
Yeah,
it's
it looks
getting
really
fresher,
cool.
Dude.
Every day it's getting fresher. I feel
The
like.
mobile specifically looks
Yes.
really good.
Yeah,
Clean.
it is. It has. It is very crispy.
It's been reborn.
Space Cork, shout out from Discord.
Shout out.
James, our website guy, is doing a fantastic job lately.
That's right. That's what
I agree.
that's what having a kid will do to you. It'll make you prioritize your spare time and be creative.
Yeah.
That's my thesis.
Can I just say something real quick before we start? I am devastated
Quitting.
that tonight is the last time that we are going to use this intro and outro.
I know.
because
It's legit.
This song is so good.
Yeah. I agree.
Couldn't we, like, if we're still doing this in like 5 years, just redo it before the next like sequel
Before
prequel
Snow comes out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before Jon Snow sequel comes out, we'll just
That would be
then that'd be
perfect,
very
probably.
appropriate to rewatch Game of Thrones because it's an actual like
Right.
sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Throwback Thursday, Game of Thrones Part 2.
Part 2. Yeah.
So we just do it all again.
Well, I mean, that's, season 8. We're all done. Mike's all done. That's the big milestone here. Is Mike
Yeah.
has now officially seen all of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Right, huge milestone for him. I'm glad we can really push him through these very important nerd culture things that he kind of
Right.
just ignores, like Star Wars,
Yeah.
Game of
Right.
Thrones.
Yeah.
So speaking of second watches, Chad and I have at least now watched it twice. Mike, would you someday consider watching it again? Would you even care to? Do you think you would get more out of it, or do you feel like you've gotten your second round just by hanging out with Chad and I? here
No,
on the-
I'd probably watch it again. I really enjoyed it a lot. I will say after I watched the finale last night and leading up to me watching the finale all day, I was just had this energy about me where I was anticipating. I was excited, but
Yeah.
also that feeling you have where you're a good thing is about to come to a close.
Right.
Where I was like, man, it also felt like an achievement because I've watched 8 seasons
True.
of the show in
Yeah.
in
Right.
a month.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was excited, but also sad that it was coming to an end, but more so excited because I wanted to see how it ended. And honestly, all of season 8 I was really enjoying, so I was looking forward to finishing it up, coming on here tonight and just trashing the haters for season 8. But we'll get into that
nice.
later. We'll get into
Nice.
that later.
It's funny you bring that up because you say you're so aware of something so good is coming to an end, which is
Mhm.
sad, right? So I mean, maybe that's just all their ways of coping with the end of this series is just by getting very angry
Yeah,
at whatever's
exactly.
left of it or
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
there. That could be a very valid psychological reason there is even hate on this.
Yeah, and I think it goes to our point of our preferred length for shows. We've always talked about that three's kind of on the short end, but 3 to 5 season sweet spot for shows.
Five's so nice.
5's great. 4's nearly perfect. 3, like I said, it's a little short, but like,
it depends on the story you're telling, though. Like
Yeah.
I don't think you could shorten Game of Thrones to
no.
anything.
I'm not
what it was.
I'm not going there at all.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
I
about
was
to
just
rip your
saying
skull off.
with that like thought in mind of like our preferred sweet spot, why at least I prefer that length for a series is mainly because if you're going to have a show for that, I mean, there's always circumstances and exceptions to this where seasons get or shows get canceled or for whatever reason they come to an abrupt end. But if you're going to land in that 3 to 5 season wheelhouse, most likely you have come to the project with an end in mind,
right?
Everything is written towards that goal, instead of having a show like Grey's Anatomy where it's like,
it's like 37 seasons.
It's like, how can we keep this going because people watch it? Like, I can't stand that. But I think I'm in the minority of preferring shorter like runs of shows because I like a strong and concise story that wraps up nicely. And I think, like Nick said, probably a lot of the hate had to do with people just being really pissed that the show is ending.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. When a show, every show that ever ends, most of them at least, everybody hates the ending. The Sopranos was the same way. The Sopranos had a super controversial ending. Breaking Bad, I don't remember if people liked or hated Breaking Bad.
I remember there being some qualms, I think there was about it.
Yeah,
everyone hated Dexter. I didn't mind Dexter. I thought it was okay.
It's just when a show gets down to the end and there's nothing else after that, there's nothing else to throw your hate at. So that the ending gets all the hate piled on top of it.
Now, with that being said, my prior comment of loving season 8, there are a few gripes I have. There were a few moments, but as a whole, I thought this was probably my second favorite season.
Nice. I love that, dude. I love that. Yeah, because when I first watched this season, I didn't get the hate at all, to be honest with you. And it might have been because literally I had to rewatch the show like 3 or 4 times before this ending actually came out. And
shocking.
And one of the big moments that angers everybody in this season is abundantly clear when you rewatch the show. Like, it's abundantly clear. So, yeah, I don't know. I did not feel that way at all, dude. I had a hell of even the second watch through, it's a hell of a ride, dude. Like, I love all these episodes. I think that 2 of them specifically may be in competition with 2 of the best episodes of the series. So,
do you want to? I know you had mentioned sometime in the past that you'd like to do like our top episodes of the series in this episode. Since you brought it up, do you just want to do it now?
Yeah,
I know we hadn't really. I mean, I didn't really plan on it. But I don't know if you guys planned on it, but on the spot, Chad, top 3 episodes.
Okay. Do they have to be in order?
No, unless you want to.
Okay, I have to put Wins a Winner on there, season 6 finale. It's just a freaking stellar episode, dude. That's, like Nick says, one of the best 20 minutes of television ever in that first half of that episode, first quarter of the episode, rather. I would definitely, I'm sorry, this is probably going to make a lot of people mad because I know that even me, to a point, didn't like the ending of this episode, but the long night, dude, you can't watch that episode and not be on the edge of your seat.
It's nuts.
You gotta give me
especially when you can see
episode numbers because I don't know.
Oh, sorry. Episode 8 or season 8, episode 3. The big battle at Winterfell.
Yes, of course.
More Night King. I'm a Night King fanboy, as you can tell with the 2 pops I got sitting behind here. And then I'd hate to do it because I already did like a big battle and I should pick a more refined episode. I want to give it to Battle of the Bastards just because of the craziness of that episode, but I'm going to hold it back and I'm going to give it to Reigns of Castamere, which is the Red Wedding. I think that episode, like I say all the time on the show, next to finding out Darth Vader is Luke's father when I was a kid, one of the most shocking things I've ever seen on a television show.
Yeah.
So in no particular order, off the top of my head, those are my top 3.
Nice. What about you, Nick?
The fact I'm glad you brought up Brains of Casimir, because the in-universe meta going on in that episode with like the title of it, the song they played at the wedding, like just we talked about it, like how many levels of just like detail went into that whole orchestration is insane.
Right.
But I think the details of that are my favorite. Is like one of my favorite episodes. But you're right. I mean, it's hard. That's kind of like a episode, Empire Strikes Back argument. It's like you can't
not like it's so big. That episode is so big because the show shifts drastically from that point forward. It's such a pivotal point in this story.
The viewers shift. Anyone that was holding on, like Mike, that was holding on to, like, he's the guy.
He's
the
guy. Yeah.
No.
Thanks for reminding me, guys.
Nope. That's a really good one. So yeah, I'll just put that in like an Empire Strikes Back category. Like we'll just say like everyone can agree like that's the cultural moment of this show, like peak of it.
They make you think it's the moment of Ned, but then no.
Yep.
Yeah, they took the Ned Stark and they doubled down on that, and they're like, you know what, we're gonna kill another one.
And another one. And another one.
But the ones that stand out to me, obviously, definitely finale of season 6. First 20 minutes there is beautiful. I will want to say is it Queen's Justice? When Dragon lights up the Lannisters, when Daenerys and the Dothraki
Spoils of War.
That episode is just awesome.
Yeah,
I like it from a standpoint that it is like a 45-minute episode. And it gets so much done, and that end sequence is just amazing, right?
Yeah,
and I also like it because there's a lot of just like, I'm a functional person. I like the functional narrative going on there. Like they tricked the Unsullied to take High Garden to get the gold to pay the Iron Bank, and they're like showing the movement of the gold, and like
it's very 4X. It's right up your alley.
4X.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they totally captured the whole like Total War element. Like we're about to get swamped. Like when Bronn says that, like it's probably one of my favorite like moments of the entire series. It's
I agree.
They're about to swamp us. Like you're screwed. Like those guys are done. So that one, finale 6. And somewhere in, this I'm not a huge, like obviously, The Long Night is fantastic, and it's so much better now. I have not seen that before. I only saw that in its very watered.
You literally have not seen it.
Literally,
I literally had not seen probably 80% of that episode until this week.
I got to be honest, I was shocked at how much you did not see when it first came out.
There's so much detail going on in the background.
In the background that you did not. I never saw any dragons flying in the background.
I can't imagine what you guys saw.
Oh, dude,
it was streaming in like 2000.
I was like, okay, I know they said this is enhanced, but it's still like dark.
Oh, dude, it is a night and day difference. Honestly, Mike, you literally could not see anything in that episode until they lit the trench, which is like 20 to 30 minutes into the episode. You couldn't see anything. Like the Unsullied on the ground when they're like shifting and all that stuff. You couldn't see any of that.
I really
crap.
loved that. Well, when they're like retreating and they keep like
yeah.
So
that was mostly gone. So like you think about like how this show is mostly shot. Like obviously there's always like a focal character, but they do so much detail in like the foreground. They just basically there's no foreground in that episode. And this is a series where you're very used to watching the foreground because there's so much good stuff happening there. This episode is just like, oh, there's John's face, right? Cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's one of the main characters. Like, who else is here? No one else is here. And when they were fighting in the castle and there's just mounds and mounds of bodies and like they were fighting there, like I was like, oh, there's like a ton of people, like all in the corners of the castle, like fighting. I was like, this.
But even with the darkness issues in that during my initial viewing, that episode was amazing, dude. Like it's called The Long Night. It's not called The Long Day. So it's going to be dark. There's a blizzard. I mean, I get what they were going with. They just went a little too far. And then the way that the cinematographer got so bitter when people were talking about it. If you ever read into that, because he got pissed that people said it was too dark.
Yeah, but that was definitely a case. Like at the time, streaming was still semi new, like especially live streams, like premieres like that. So I think that was really a case of like no one like ran that by him, been like, is this
Right.
gonna look good? Like
Streaming
Streaming?
specifically. Yeah.
Dude,
And
it's
then,
so
like-
funny too because so like starting with probably season 6, I finally started waiting until the end of the episode and watching the director like talk.
Yeah.
And for that episode, they're like, I know that this is like the cinematographer, but they're just like heaping praise on the director of this episode.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
just like,
yeah. for sure.
oh my god, what he did for this episode was just fantastic, blah, blah. And I was just like cracking up the whole time because
Yeah.
it's
It
like
is
I
funny,
can't
and-
see anything.
And I know you're into like the background stuff. There is a phenomenal documentary on them filming this final season on HBO. I think it's called The Last Watch. And it goes, and you do not understand the hell these people went through to film that long night episode. I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
crazy. It's crazy what they went through.
Man,
So much so that they're actually they're stunt double suing HBO right now because they like one was a white and was told to walk off the wall like it's not there. You know how they just go over the edge, like snapped both his femurs. And they just kept going, I guess, is what's in the lawsuit. So
really getting into it.
right.
Appreciate the dedication there. to
Yeah.
the
Also,
scene.
yeah, like I remember watching it. They legitimately were in mud. It was freezing. They also had to film at night,
Yeah.
or like really
Yeah.
close to nighttime
Mhm.
and all that stuff. So very odd filming conditions. They went all in.
They did for sure.
Nice. I also like how Nick totally disregarded the fact that I don't know any of these episode titles and still just
Still
went by episode titles.
What I said the finale of season 6.
Well, Reigns of Castamere, you know Reigns of Castamere.
Yeah,
I don't know which
season
one
three.
that is. Come on now.
Long Night. You literally just watched Long Night,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that should be fresh in
I
there.
want to pick
somewhere.
one though out of season 8.
You did
I did.
the Long Night.
I didn't want to
he
settle
just-
on the long night though.
Oh, okay.
but
You were just talking it out.
I was just
loud.
talking because
He was
yeah,
faking us out.
yeah, I was faking you out. Yeah, we'll just go with that one then.
Double fake out.
Well, okay. My issue with season 8 is if I could like collect like a ton of moments from season 8 and put them into like one episode, then I could like pick one. But the problem is like the Siege of King's Landing. I thought that was, I don't know, that one I'm torn on. We talk about that later. But that one first started off like as cool as I remember, but then I was just like, wow, this is just freaking sad. Like, this
Yeah,
is just
dude.
a sad
Yeah.
episode. Like,
There's one thing that when we get to it, I'll talk about it. There's one glaring thing that is like so freaking ridiculous to me in that episode. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
It's just sticks out like a sore thumb even now rewatching it.
yeah. Well,
Nice.
we'll double back a little bit here and shout out our top tier patrons.
Wow,
which I
you're not
believe-
gonna ask me what my favorite episodes are. I see.
We
how
gotta
it is.
do top tier patrons, then we'll listen to
Yeah,
your
yeah.
favorite episode.
Little teaser. Stick around.
Teaser, stick around. But Yusuf, Joe, and Timothy, thank you so
Yeah.
much. You guys rock, as well as all of our other lovely patrons
Heck
that
yeah.
grew today.
Heck
I
yeah.
think thanks to Chad and his mafia. But that's fine. Yeah. Thank you so much. So Mike,
Appreciate
what are
the
your
support.
top 3 episodes, I guess?
Sign up for tier 4 Patreon and
find
I'll
out.
put my no, I'm just kidding. All right, so I'm glad that only one of my episodes was picked, and I would go season 7 episode 4, I believe, is the Spoils of War.
Spoils of War.
Hey, what's up, Joe? Sorry, I'm late. I didn't want to be here. Join the club, man. Join the club.
Damn.
Except I was on time. No, I'm just kidding. I always want to be here. I love these guys.
Wow, I think Mike's gonna
Um,
quit. It's gonna be
yeah.
the Chad and Nick show.
Yeah. At least we won't have to deal with so much passive aggressive British people talk whenever Mike's not. He
British
just turns
people
into a
talk.
British dude when he gets passive aggressive lads.
How about that answer the boys post, lads?
How
Eh?
about you do this,
Hey.
lads?
Yeah, chaps. Yeah. So, season 7, episode 4, Spoils of War. I mean, you guys already talked about it, but and we talked about it last episode, I think, quite a bit. So, I'm not gonna go any more into that. And then the other 2 are from season 8, and we'll talk about them in more detail as we progress in the
Wow.
episode. But
Double
it
down.
would be episode 2 of season 8, the night before, right? I don't know what the title is, but it's
That's
the
a fun
A
episode.
Night of the Seven
lead up.
Kingdoms.
Yep, the lead up to the Battle of Winterfell. There, we'll get into detail, but I mean, it's just all of the moments that these characters have as they're, what they are assuming to be their last night alive, and there's just so much there in these scenes of dialogue. It's a few moments where I got a little emotional, and I was like, oh, that's so good. So that one is up there, and then obviously the Long Night is a good one, but I loved episode 5. So good. And we'll talk about that.
I have picked that episode. I basically have picked 2 episodes out of 8.
That's interesting though, because you picked 2 of your favorite episodes were in season 8. I think that makes season 8 your favorite season. If I'm not correct,
Especially because
I'm adding it up right,
6 episodes.
Yeah,
I think like ratio wise, it would lead to that assumption. But I think season 7 is probably my favorite. There are just a lot of really awesome moments in season 7.
Yeah,
payoff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. And I think we can sprinkle in all like lots of different, the best of the favorites of. Think about it right now, because I think I've settled on this. I have a favorite all-time character in Game of Thrones.
Oh, right. I'm excited to hear this because I did not respond
really?
to your
It's
text.
probably Cersei. Wow. Spoiler alert.
I mean, no.
Oh, wow.
I am shocked.
Yeah, me
so
too.
I'll deny that, because that was the obvious answer, and it's not that. But think of yours. Don't come up empty-handed.
Okay.
So yeah, the first episode of this season, Winterfell, right? I think this is kind of really the last like castle intrigue kind of like mingling about episode we get in like the whole series. Because everyone kind of gets hightails it back to Winterfell. They find out the devastating news. They're like, oh, the Night King's breached the wall. They have a dragon, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's where that build up to Mike's favorite episode, like the second episode right after this, is it's just that building of like, we are so screwed. We are going to die.
Just despair.
Cersei, pretends to pledge a truce, but like Psych pulls. It's like, yeah, no, not doing that. Of course. And everyone that thought I was going to do that's an idiot. Tyrion continues getting kind of lashed for thinking he's smart, because maybe that's something people didn't like, because he was such a smart, clever character, and like he just really kind of isn't anymore. He like tries to be, because like the way I kind of took it is like he is clever if the wheel still exists, but he's actively promoting the breaking of the wheel. So Tyrion, like, your methods don't really work here.
Well, I think his cleverness is not as effective. One, because he underestimates Cersei, and most importantly, Dany just doesn't vibe with that style. She's just like, yeah, but no. And so like it seems like all of her attempts of heeding his advice are half-hearted. So like, she doesn't fully commit to the plans, which sometimes will lead to failure. But I think that combination of Cersei actually being more clever than he gives her credit for, in tandem with Dany not really wanting to really play his game, kind of leads to what we saw of Tyrion in the last season there.
That's a good like psychological point in that.
And that was just literally thought of 5 seconds ago. I wasn't even like...
The observation I take away from that is that Dany never fully buys into his plans. So of course, once they slightly go sideways, she's like, that was stupid. I could have told you that. Like, can we just burn the whole place yet? So she's kind of like setting, like, she's building up to her own. She's making it come to reality. Like this is what she wants, and everything else is just kind of like, we'll try it, but it's not going to work. And then second it doesn't work, she's like, idiot.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that as a point to the burn meter.
Speaking of passive aggressive.
Yeah, super right, for sure.
Obviously.
Sorry, my chair keeps like just sinking. Anyways, Joe says obviously the best character is Tyrion, followed by Oberyn Martell, followed by the Hound.
Obviously ugly.
I mean, that's three great characters.
Very good. Now, best character is completely different than favorite character. That's the way I feel about it. Like, best character.
Yeah, that's true.
Best characters, like, you can figure that out with math or something like that.
Yeah.
Favorite character is just like a gut feeling. Like,
yeah.
Best arc, best just you enjoyed them, right?
Right.
Especially in the ending. I think that's where all really kind of strings together is in the end.
Yeah.
Cool thing here, though. Also in season 1, we get Euron. He shows back up with the Golden Company. It's cool to get and see the Golden Company because like they're kind of heralded as this like really really badass for hire.
I mean, I feel like that was a gripe, or it wasn't originally a gripe of mine, but very well could be.
Now it is.
Like they show up and literally do nothing.
Dude, that's the point that I was talking about in the Bells, the episode. Like, they just go out like complete, but like they didn't even need to be there, dude.
Yeah.
Like that was a total waste. I will say that I really enjoy their aesthetics because they are mercenaries. And if you look at them, they are all wearing different armor sets, different boots. They're, they could have easily just made, 1,000 same suits of armor for all of them to wear, but they're wearing different boots. As like small touches on them were really cool. But then they just get like, it's like, dude, what? Why?
Yeah.
I think on that side of the fence, there's a lot of gripes I have with just kind of how that played out. But there was only so much time, I guess. But
and I think if anything that I have to gripe with this season at all, it's just the pace of it, dude. It's very, very
it's
like
very
one
abrasive.
thing, and I think that's the jarring thing for most people.
Favorite is Hound is a good pick.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
very
He's
good pick
solid.
for favorite.
I mean, he's also a solid candidate for like, I don't know about best character, but like a very complete character.
Yeah,
there's a lot of growth throughout the series. But yeah, I'm sure we'll touch on all that stuff by the end of the episode too. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get all my negative Nancy stuff out as it pops up. We're talking about the Golden Company, and that makes me think about the truce that Cersei took back.
Yeah,
she didn't even they could have just taken that whole removing of the truce out, because she didn't even do anything after okay, cool, you tricked them with your fake truce, but you didn't attack anywhere.
I think that's the pace issue. Yeah, that's the pace issue. Like, that shit probably got cut and is on the cutting room floor. You know what I mean? And that can make this season feel even more accelerated than season 7. You know what I mean? Season 7 was quick. Yeah. This one is really freaking quick. Through all of it.
Because I mean, you could use the Golden Company to do some real heinous backstabbing while they're preparing to fight the Night King and all that stuff.
They could have taken the whole North.
Yeah, dude.
And I mean, and you point out this. I mean, I don't know if it's a gripe, but Euron, very OP on the first half of the season. Yeah, and I think that's part of the issue with the pacing is this is just big pendulum swings. Euron, mega OP, dropping dragons like flies, mowing down fleets. Yeah. And then on the other side of that,
then literally can't hit a single dragon with 25 scorpions.
Yeah.
Or man, they had there's at least probably 20, 30, 40, 50 ships in that bay, all the scorpions, and then the entire wall,
lined with them,
100 feet, with more of them, and not a one,
not a single.
And that's
one.
why I told Mike, even in that scene where her one dragon just gets like sniped, and like once again, great when they get like hit in the throat.
Dude,
just,
brutal.
Like,
yeah, brutal.
Yeah.
She's just barreling down on his fleet. There's like they're in this like weird like there's an island, and then they are on the other side, and they're kind of going through this little passageway.
Channel almost. Yeah.
She could have used like this island as like cover and like swooped around and just like melted them from behind, especially knowing what she does later in episode 5. It's like, okay, they don't match, but anyways,
I think the thing there is like she only has 2 dragons left. She just watched one get shot like 3 times and die. I'm flying away too.
Blind
like,
rage.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's just the flying at them when it's. I mean, I know obviously like a lot of except for the Golden Company and Truce thing, but like this, of course, drama. You know, it wouldn't be as entertaining if they did the logistical, like logical thing, not logistical, logical thing. But yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. I mean, anyone that gets like any ships that sink, like people just swim ashore anyways in this series. So I don't know.
No one.
Like, true. Euron, he would have just swam ashore.
Yeah.
What else happens in here? Oh,
Missandei gets captured, by the way.
Missandei gets captured in that bit. That's sad, worrisome, very worrisome, because she's literally Cersei's like pet prisoner in like her quarters, which is never good.
Somehow she's found by Euron's crew, even though she was like below deck in a ship that got sunk,
far away from theirs and everyone else. Yeah, weird logistics there. That's now that's a teleportation issue. Like I even like maybe a little bit of an issue with like, okay, that was very convenient.
Right.
We got the one thing that really was good. Like, speaking of Cersei, she tries to through is it Oberyn? No, that's Martell. Qyburn tries to hire Bronn to kill the Lannister brothers. Like
sneaky.
That's a fun little element there, because I mean, Bronn's looking for his payment. Like he's been getting shorted for like 5 seasons.
Yeah, this is my big hang up with this season, because I love Bronn as a character, and
he's in like 2 scenes.
Dude, they don't use him at all. Like it's impractical for me to think that he wouldn't have been at that fight at Winterfell, but
he said he was out.
He said he's been saying it for forever. Like he's done with this crap. He just wants his castle. He wants his money. He wants to move on. So in that aspect, I get it. It just feels wrong to not have him at that fight with everybody. You know what I mean?
Was his last
and you don't even see him during the bells when like shit's popping off in King's Landing. Dude. Like he just shows up at the end.
He's got high guard in his sights. He's trying to die.
I know, but
was his last fight Spoils of War?
Yes. And that's a good one to go out on.
And
he sees the dragon and he's probably just like, no
way, not doing it.
I mean, that happened, but then he even gives it like the senior like lap and is like, I'm going to try to kill the dragon. I'm going to save Jaime. And like, I mean, it's not like he just fought in a battle and was done. Like he tried to legitimately like risk his life to save everything about that. And he did. So it's fair to say like, I'm done. Everyone.
Yeah.
Like you
guys even that is not really it goes against having him in the season somewhere else besides the 2 scenes that he's in. You know what I mean? We don't have to see him fighting, but I would like to see him somewhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. Down in the crypt or something. Put him down in the crypt with Varys and all them during the long night. Just put him in there. He's a great character.
He doesn't want to die.
He's so underutilized in this season. It makes me mad.
So when he shows up and threatens Jaime and Tyrion
in the inn outside of Winterfell, which I loved because we got to see a little town outside of Winterfell. Fun.
Yes. Was that episode 2 or 4?
Yes, that was 2.
So that was before the long night. Okay, yeah.
Everyone was showing up to the.
So how did he get out of there so quick?
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't go into the castle. He just rode He rode back south.
Like for a dude that's trying not to die, riding towards possibly the most dangerous fucking area in Westeros right now as the White Walkers are coming through the wall, seems like poor writing in my eyes. But like maybe send a raven and say, "Hey, I'm going to kill you if you don't do this." Like don't.
Just shoot him a little text like, "Hey, bro, after this is all over, if you don't die up there, I'm going to come get you."
Like, it just doesn't make sense that he's like, oh, yeah, I want to survive. I want to get this castle. I want to get my gold. But I'm also going to ride north real quick just to threaten two guys in possibly the biggest coming war that Westeros has ever seen. Like, on the cusp of it. And then he's just going to dip back out. Like, it's little things like that add up for me. But
yeah. I mean, speaking of, and this has been underused for like the past 3 seasons, but the whole Yara Theon thing, like Theon rescues Yara
so
quickly in this, and then she goes back to retake the Iron Islands. But even throughout this whole season, like they are just underused characters, and they just kind of like Yara just kind of pops up places.
But Yara's like, at least Yara's make sense. Like they say, like she's going to get the Iron Island, so they have somewhere else to retreat if stuff goes sideways in Winterfell. Bronn is just like all over the map.
But that logic doesn't even make sense either. Like they weren't retreating; they were all going to die.
Yeah.
Stuff went sideways at Winterfell.
I mean,
it's done.
She can retreat.
Right.
Yeah, was she there? No, she was on the Iron Islands.
Yeah, walkers.
I mean, I think it was the assumption was it was for Dany specifically. Like if stuff goes bad, she's going to be the last one to get it because she's flying around on a dragon up there.
Nah, she lands it, and then
picks up a sword for the first time in her life, probably.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But anyways, we got way off track. So like back to, is there anything else in episode 1 we want to talk about?
John and Dany, they have like a love ride while everyone's working, preparing for the defenses. They kind of go on a little joyride on the dragons, and they kind of do the whole John and his first girlfriend thing where it's like, let's just stay
big
here.
Callback.
Right.
Big callback.
Which I thought was really cool. And it's also really, I think this is the first time we see John actually riding the dragon as well, which is cool to see.
Can I say, big fan of John, realizing that incest is gross.
I knew you were going to be a fan of that.
Thank you.
But at the same time, it does feel a little out of place. I don't know. It just it seems like such a weird thing through the season. Like, dude,
those Starks,
you can tell she's going
in their head.
I know, I get it. It's the honorable thing.
Ned's the same way. It's like, oh nope, never mind.
Yeah,
I did that. I'm not doing it no more. That's not good. Bad look. Bad look. Okay, so other 2 important things that happen this episode is
this when Varys gets it?
No. That was episode 1. That was until like 5.
That's 4 or 5, yeah.
Sam tells John who he is.
Oh yes, that's it.
That whole thing happens right near the end of the episode. That happened down the crypt. So that's where it's like we came off with like the hot scene in the boat end of last season, and then first episode there's like, hey John, like Mike, you're saying he just stiffed that like real quick. He's like, nope, not me.
John immediately channels his inner Ace Ventura.
Pet
detective grabs the tube of toothpaste.
Like, oh, that's gross.
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn.
I like this scene. I did like that it was like on the. It seemed odd that Sam was like angry about Daenerys burning Randall and the brother. I get probably the brother, but like that dude, that even though Randall Tarley is a badass and I love his character, he's awesome.
Brother, really.
He's an awesome character. I think it's more of his brother. Yeah. It's like, dude, that guy was horrendous to you. Like, what are you upset over? So
I was a little shocked. I would accept the reaction for his brother, for sure.
I think that's the icing on the cake.
But he reacts pretty strongly to the news that his dad, and I was like,
cracks a
why joke. Are you like? I mean, yes, I mean, okay, family is family, right? And no matter how terrible a family member treats you, the shock of your father being murdered is probably going to
also valid,
draw out some emotion,
right?
But I wasn't expecting that reaction for the news of his father.
Yeah, I don't know that he used it as almost turning on Dany in a way, because he like goes immediately to tell John.
I think that part was mainly because, and also your brother,
right?
I mean, the other issue is one. This is well, they're not prone to not dying, but like it's kind of the Tyrion thing we talked about last episode. Like families just don't get snuffed out. Like there is some sort of mercy for like the fact that this
Right.
respect for the family, right? And not only was it like, hey, you committed a crime, treason, whatever, and you get your head cut off. Like she's burning people alive, and I think that's very abrasive for like people to think about. Like they didn't just die. Like she burned them alive because they wouldn't bend the knee. And at this point,
very
this is where I'm
Targaryen,
like, Tyrion was in the right. Like put him in a cell. Like we can take prisoners.
Yeah, and the dad would have been like a huge help moving forward if he were in a cell and turned towards Dany's side at some point. Like he's a well-respected military commander, and I don't know, dude. Yeah, that I think that was
Blind
just to
rage.
show, the blind rage that she has, and I think that helps what happens towards the end of this season. You know, so.
And that's where the writing's on the wall. Where like I can admit on the first watch, like her little like crazy eye in episode 5, like it was just like, oh god, like they're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
It makes more sense when you're expecting it and you're kind of building up to it.
Can I say also real quick? That's like third time I've said that in this episode. But remember when I said I thought I spoiled the ending?
Well,
I wanted to ask about this.
Yeah, so did I.
Thankfully, because I realized what I was starting to read and I just like scrolled real fast, I got it flipped. So I thought I was expecting Dany to turn on Jon and kill him.
Oh, what a good one.
So when that happened, I was like, I did not see that coming.
Oh, nice.
I thought I spoiled the entire series.
Nick and I talked about it, and I think like after the House of the Dragon, I thought that's what you spoiled for yourself. I figured you spoiled because you were reading the Snow sequel, and I was looking.
Exactly. I was browsing through a list of.
And after that episode, when you left, I was looking at those articles trying to find one, and the one said Jon kills his aunt. At the end of season 8, Jon kills his aunt. Yada yada yada. So I was like, that's probably what he freaking spoiled. But even that's not like, I wouldn't even care, to be honest with you. Like, that's not the shocking moment of this season when he does that. Like leading up to it, you know, it's coming.
Because exactly. It was brewing for quite some time. And I figured something was going to happen, but I was delighted that,
are we talking about that scene right now?
That. No. I just wanted to get that out before I forgot.
Yeah,
it popped into my
head. Cool thing that happens in this episode, and I could have swore there's a lot more of this throughout the whole series that I saw the first time, but I did not see it this time. But the White Walker art, because when Tormund and gang find the Night Watch people in Last Hearth, and there's just like, it's kind of like
that poor boy that was in the
horrifying
meeting, the Great Hall of Winterfell,
the Umber boy,
the Umber boy.
So we do see
there's
that
way
logo.
More of that art.
You see a lot more. You probably just missed it. It's the very first scene of the show. We see it. We see it at Fist of the First Men, I think, when they go back. So it's scattered. It's not as probably prevalent as you thought it was. But it's there. It's there.
I think on the first watch, like the thing there is like, okay, there's that thing again. Like that means something, but it doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
I was gonna say, do they ever play into what the
symbolism
means?
I might have a slight theory on it when we get to the Long Night. I might have a slight theory on what that logo is. The other spot that we see it where I think is where it's coming from is when the Night King is made. That overshot of the tree, that's the logo there. So I don't know if he's just using it as like a
Night King logo,
like the Night King logo. So
his branding department needs some work.
Yeah,
we have a logo. What does it mean? I don't know.
Yeah, no one knows.
People going.
Whatever. That's cool.
Gets the dead churning in their graves. But yeah, I like this scene. One, it's almost like complete throwaway. Doesn't really do anything, but it's kind of got that real deep horror element where
it does.
It's like they're lurking through the castle. It's freezing. There's nothing in there. Get the
He's
classic.
got blue eyes.
That's my favorite part. He's got blue eyes. I've
I've
always had blue eyes.
Yeah.
So
Old
good.
Tormund.
And it's cool to see Ed finally come back, even though I feel like he's been missing for like multiple seasons at this point, right? He wasn't in season 7 at all, was he? The night watch commander dude that took over after John.
Yeah, Tormund was basically
he
Night
was.
Watch in season 7 because it was East Watch.
Right. Yeah, we weren't really at Castle Black, so that's probably where he was. But it's cool to see him come back. He was a bigger character than I remembered him being, especially through the first couple of seasons.
Wasn't Battle of the Bastards in season 7?
No, 6.
Okay, then yeah, 6 was probably the last time we saw him. Because that's
Yeah,
when
that's what I
John would have
thought.
left Winterfell. That was the last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that scene, but doesn't mean anything. So and then Jamie kind of shows up at Winterfell, and Bran's been kind of sitting in his chair, like being weird, waiting
Being
for a
weird,
friend.
yeah. Typical
I
Bran.
hate Bran so much.
And then that kind of leads us into a Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and this is Mike's like favorite episode, practically almost. And the gist of this episode is just like everyone's at Winterfell. I don't even know if King's Landing makes an appearance in this one.
I think it just follows everyone around
Yes.
in their immense despair and
and this is
denial.
this is the episode along with The Long Night in the season where I said might be one of the 2 best episodes of the series. I love this episode, dude, especially in the second watch through when you know everything that's coming. It's just, even though it's got like a slight horror element to it because you're waiting for the storm to come. You know what, at least when you're watching it the second time, you know what's coming in the next episode. So seeing everybody's reactions, the pairing between everybody throughout the whole thing, it's just so good. Lots of great dialogue in this episode.
It's the classic like RPG castle chatter. Like you gotta go to all the different NPCs and see what's going on with them.
Yep. For sure.
That part of the storyline.
Yeah.
What were some of your favorite I guess conversations in this episode between
Definitely
what characters?
anytime Tormund is trying to talk to Brienne,
dude,
it's always good.
His freaking giant story.
Oh my
man.
gosh.
It's so fucking funny every time.
Is that true though? Like
I
We'll
don't
never
know.
know.
It's in the history in lores a couple times. I think he talks about it. I don't know if it's true.
I think it's like half and half true.
I think it's half and half, maybe. But it's just so funny. Like laugh out loud funny when he tells that story in front of everybody.
Especially like the look he has in his eyes.
Yeah.
And everyone else is just like
He's the wasted guy at like the very calm. It's like, let's just have some drinks before we all die, and then like he
Tormund comes in.
He's
with his horn,
hammered.
just
Yep.
like.
So I
trying to
love
get
that.
Loose.
I love that. I also love when Brienne like walks away and he's like, I'm heartbroken. Like,
oh yeah.
and then those two girls,
like
he's
crying.
great through all of that.
That was
an
after.
episode.
Oh, maybe it was. Yeah,
That was after.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the Brienne thing, knighting Brienne. That
was
whole group.
That was one of the
is
ones where
awesome.
I was
Tearjerker.
getting the emotions.
Yeah, for
Also
sure. I
one.
also really like Jamie and Tyrion's discussion about like if Dad was here, he'd be pissed that we're about to die in defending Winterfell. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
And
just
then the
that
Arya
whole-
stuff too, like with the Hound, I thought was
So
great.
good. That scene between Brienne and Jamie, so good because like, excuse me, Brienne's getting the one thing that you can tell she's pretty much wanted her entire life, though she denies it.
Right.
She's getting it from like the one person that means the most to her.
Yep.
And it's kind of like it's not like any sort of redemption or anything for Jamie, but it's just one of those like good guy moments, you know, like Jamie is doing the right thing, like he sees the moment and like what's happening, and he like just turns on good guy Jamie there for a second, and I'm just like, everything about this is so great.
Yeah.
In that same vein, what I was kind of thinking there is like a lot of this season is, the end of the wheel, right? And everything they're all used to. Jamie is like the last knight, right, of the Seven Kingdoms. Like he was obviously the best one for a long while, right?
Right.
And captain of the King's Guard, like he's like the peak knight. Like everyone, like he is the guy, for better or worse. So I mean, it's just, and that's why she respects him so much. Like, there is that good guy, Jamie. Like, at heart, like, he is true and true knight. He's even like, I don't care anything about my family or like being like an heir, all that crap. Like, he's like, this is what I cared about
That's
as a
his
kid.
job.
I
Yep.
grew up
Yep.
and I became this. He had all
Yeah.
those conversations with his dad about that, and like,
Yeah,
that's
and
like a
those
really
those
strong element
conversations
about
are
Jamie.
great. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Those conversations, especially with his dad when he's trying to give him the Valerian steel sword, where he's just like, I don't want a family. I don't want kids. And he's like, what do you want? Supper. Be nice. Like, that's Jamie in a nutshell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love that. And I think I still have to kind of think on the favorite character thing, but Jamie's up there for me because of the duality of his story. Like, he's got that good guy element that comes out every now and then, but like I said before in past episodes, they always check you. They very quickly, usually, like, don't feel too bad for him because he's still, shacking up with his sister. So
Yeah.
I really like that element. He's got one of the best arcs, I think, without question. Best character, probably I'd give him. I don't know if he's my favorite character per se, but his
he's
arc
definitely a top candidate for best
Yeah.
character for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and then is the hookups after the long night?
Depends on which
No.
hookup you're talking about.
Yeah, it depends which one.
Jamie and Brienne.
Yeah, that's after.
Yes. Yeah.
That's when Tormund was very sad and heartbroken.
Yes.
Because Jamie was drunk and he was
my
like,
favorite.
smooth move. But the hookup that did happen this episode is Arya and what's his face?
Gendry.
Gendry, man, what a champ. Like he just has that Baratheon look all the time.
Yeah.
And that gets recognized in this season a lot. Like I'm glad they brought him back, just plucked him out of thin air in season 7 for him to come back and kind of he becomes the Baratheon. Which is fantastic.
Yeah. Which I think is great. It's a amazing move on Dany's part, looking towards the future, putting him at Storm's End as a Baratheon. That's like Tyrion says, I think it's brilliant. And then I like the Arya stuff with him because it kind of humanizes her a little bit. Like she still has some sort of interest in this kind of stuff, even though she's like this focused, like wants to kill everything in her path type of woman. She still has a little interest in normal stuff as well, even though she doesn't want to be a lady. And I did like that too, where he like proposes to her pretty much and she denies him.
Yeah.
So
like, fell hard over there.
Yeah.
He did. Like that was a little abrasive too. I was like, man, I forgot. Like he just goes right for it.
Right.
And she's like,
she's like, I'm literally about to die tomorrow. Can we do this?
Yeah.
And then he's like, let's get married.
Yeah. Slow down. Slow down.
Granted, he did just go through probably the most insane, like,
that's how he opens it up
of his life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, we beat the army of the dead. What? I'm invincible. Like, what? Was she gonna say no?
I'm a lord.
Rip.
I got all this stuff now.
Yeah.
I think what I remember from after that episode was everyone kind of like on Twitter being weirded out by the fact that like when she started this show, she was
yeah.
Oh yeah,
very young.
I mean, okay, so gripe of the entire series for me, probably not gonna be a shock to anyone.
Sexual misconduct,
but it's just like all of the nudity and sexual stuff. I get like, of the times, sure, and shock value for some scenes, sure, but honestly it just feels like a cheap attempt to shock people, or like, oh, there's boobs in like every scene, this is awesome. But like I was talking to somebody else about this this week actually, and I would say probably like 97% of all of the sex scenes and nudity add zero value to any story line scene that's going on.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they're going for, bro.
I know, and that's my gripe. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then when
I'm
we
not
have scenes like this one, I think, like, okay, it makes sense, right? Because it's Arya's, like, it's her last night alive in her mind, so it makes sense. But
is there even any nudity in that scene? I don't even think there is.
I mean,
it's all
really,
just side.
It's like that whole, like, I just felt so weird going off of like Nick's what he was about to say about like her being on the show, and she was like 8 basically, and now.
But is that relevant, really? Like, once you get past a certain age, like, she's an adult. It's not like they were putting a kid on there. Yeah, she was a kid at one point. We all were kids at one point, and we've all been naked in beds at some point in our lives. We all have children. So
yeah, that's true. I think also the other thing that weirded me out about this is, like, when I saw their relationship earlier in the series, it seemed very much like a sibling type relationship they had with each other. So that was also like a weird factor to me.
But it's Game of Thrones.
It's Game of Thrones, and also, I mean, Arya said it herself. Like, you know, I've never done this before, and I'm probably going to die. So, so like that, it all makes sense. I was just griping about the incessant amount of nudity and graphic.
Yeah, I get
sex-ish
I get that. I get that. I hear that a lot from the series. People have an issue with that. I personally don't really care. The only scene that sticks out in the entire series that's like that is the Littlefinger scene in the brothel with the 2 girls on the couch. It's just like that scene is way overboard,
so
dude. Dude, it's way the hell overboard. Like, that's way like that took HBO. Yeah.
It's him.
I know, but the thing that annoys me is that what he's saying in that scene is actually decent dialogue, but it's ruined by the people on the couch that we have to see every couple of seconds.
Yeah,
so
and
that's
just
really
like,
the only one.
I just don't. I mean, to me, doesn't matter if it serves a purpose to drive the story forward, or
like Danny and John,
or if it's there for shock value that actually makes sense to drive home a point, whatever, fine. I mean, I watched the entire series. I'm 35. I'm not like, you know, I wasn't put off enough by it to not watch the show, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm just I didn't have a choice here.
Yeah, it was in the fine print of your contract when you signed.
That's true. But it goes beyond like nudity and sex scenes for me. Anything that's there that does not serve a purpose, like, to me, is just like wasted time or bloat, not necessary, and I'll gripe about it. For me, in this show, the only thing really, I shouldn't say the only thing, but the biggest of the few things that I found unnecessary throughout the entire series was all of the nudity and sex.
Yeah.
But that's all.
I think the way to do, like, the Danny and John sequence, that's way more powerful, the way they did that sex scene, than doing like Danny and Khal Drogo in the beginning. Obviously, that's different circumstances going on there.
It was a young show. They're trying to get views.
I'm trying to say, like, there's obviously there's barely any nudity whatsoever in the Danny and John sequence, and it's a powerful moment. It's needed.
Or like, what's about to happen to Sansa and Ramsay, like, on that night?
Yeah.
Like, obviously you need to make people's skin crawl there, because that you're trying to show the absolutely grotesque, like, debauchery of Ramsay.
Yeah.
But like 98% of everything else, just like, I've seen boobs before. Like, I don't need to see them in this. Like, but Joe says the only sex in the books were done for story purposes.
Yeah, I hear at the end of the day, it's an HBO thing.
Exactly.
That's 100% what. If this show landed on any other network, we wouldn't have got all that. But it's HBO, is what it is. Like,
at least they spared us and Jamie from having Euron bang
insert
Cersei.
Cersei.
I don't want to see Euron do anything like that. Like, it's hard enough watching him. Like, he like, this season he gets real, like, kind of, he's just like so like snarly, or just like,
I
feel like
he's
just
a
like
cocky little
he's
dude.
just like,
he's just a gross, grimy.
gonna mute my mic for a second, guys. Say hello to Becca.
Hello, Becca.
She's making her
nightly appearance.
Her nightly
her
appearance.
weekly appearance.
Hello.
1 second, guys.
Now mute. Man, what was I gonna say? It was so distracting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where I was really going anywhere. A scene that I do want to point out here in episode 2, though. and he unmutes
clears
for
his
the
throat.
Yeah, I gotta let you guys know I'm back.
God, I hate you.
So the scene
Apparently,
that
I
do-
locked my wife out of the house, by the way, which is hilarious.
Oh, nice.
How'd she get in?
She's sneaky, I guess.
Yeah,
Wow.
through a window probably.
Yeah.
I do want to point out Sam giving Jorah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was the
Heartsbane.
other one that gave me
It really-
the feels.
A, gives you the feels. B, that sword is so freaking badass, dude. Like if I told Nick during the House of Dragon episode that if there was a replica sword I was gonna buy, it'd be that one. It's so cool looking. It's got a badass name, and I love that he's like
Heartsbane.
Heartsbane, yeah. And I love that he's like, I'd use it, but I can't even hold it upright, which is exactly what his dad said he couldn't do. He wouldn't be able to hold the sword. So,
And Jorah needs a Valyrian steel sword.
also,
Yeah.
true.
But-
But
he
just
needs
like
to-
the whole conversation, like
Wait, who
Sam
got
telling
that?
Jorah how much like his father, Lord Commander
Yeah.
Mormont meant to him and all that. It was good.
Where'd that sword go?
Yeah, I don't know.
They just
I don't
left
know.
it.
Yeah.
No, there's no way. Someone has. It's just probably hanging out in
It's
Winterfell.
durability depleted.
Sansa snatched it. She seems like a hoarder of like
Yeah.
precious things.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They don't ever explain it, which is a bummer. But
Yeah. Oh well. Oh, then obviously, tons of conversations, but the one conversation that awkward, John tells Danny, just like the end of last episode, Sam told John, now John tells Danny, to
Yeah.
everybody's advice. Like, how's that going? Like, there's people telling him like, don't do it. There's other people being like, just like
It's not
basically
the honorable way, man.
usurper. And then I believe
It boils down to you never want to tell a Stark a secret.
true. Yeah, it's not gonna.
Let me scratch that. You never want to tell a male Stark a secret.
my favorite bit of dialogue was when they're in the Godswood and Sansa's like, and he's like, you have to swear, and John's like, you have to swear, like you can't tell anyone. And Sansa's like, how can I swear to keep a secret I haven't heard yet? I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, that's not how that works.
That's not how that works, Sansa. Like you have to hear all the secrets, then you get to decide. If
Right.
Like no, bad
Nah,
writing. That was
that's
very
not
bad.
secret enough to be worthy of my secret.
She's like, give me all your secrets, and then I'll tell you which ones I'll keep.
Right.
It's like, no, never ever has that ever worked like that, Sansa.
And yeah, this is important because it really causes a ripple through the rest of the show. This sequence where he tells Sansa, because Sansa tells other people, and eventually, I don't know, is it Sansa that tells Tyrion?
Yep.
And then
She's like,
that
what if
gets
there was another?
right, and then that gets to Varys, obviously, and then Varys. That's the other thing. We'll get there. I'll talk about the Varys stuff when we get there. But
True.
yeah, so this sends a heck of a ripple through everything, and it's. I thought Mike was not going to like this because it's like right before the battle, so I thought people were like going to start bailing out, like we got bigger problems. But yeah, I don't know. It needed to come out, right?
Yeah. And,
It had to.
Yeah. John's not going to keep the secret. And there is some good. The idea is interesting how they approach, because it's very true. It's like Tyrion, like Danny was right. Danny was right in this situation. He's like, why do you think Sansa told you? Because you're going to tell. Why'd you tell Varys? Like, the reason they're doing, like, you don't tell people secrets because, like, you're bored. And it's just like,
Right.
that's what I do. It's like, there's an expected
Just
outcome.
eating away at me.
Exactly.
I have
Yep.
to tell someone. Oh, thank
Yeah.
goodness I told you, because now you're going to tell everyone.
Right. Yeah.
Except that literally is what goes through John's head, I think. It's like, it's literally eating me away. I cannot not tell you the truth.
Except
Yeah.
for John. Yeah. He's the one that's where it's like, no, I'm just going to tell you, and nothing bad's going to happen. Right.
Yeah.
Right?
I think he needs to explain why
Dead.
the love interest has depleted drastically at the beginning of the season. You know what I mean? You could see like even Dany is irritated by it, sitting at the table, and he just walks away. And you could tell multiple scenes she's irritated. So that is a secret that he had to tell her. He had
nothing personal.
Yeah,
but like
you're my aunt.
You're my aunt, and I'm kind of not into this.
Yeah,
but he never like honorably like tells her the truth about that. Obviously, I guess like it's assumed that like she gets it. Like he's not cool with that. Like things have changed, but he never straight up says like, Dany, I love you to death, but you're my aunt.
No, instead he just says about 300 times in the 6 episodes of season 8, you're my queen.
You are my queen.
You'll always be my queen.
Yeah.
He's just like
total friend zone comment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you love me? You'll always be my queen.
You're a great friend.
Great queen.
Great queen.
Just your queen.
You have a great personality.
Yeah.
But you don't.
One of the funniest people I know.
Poor Dany. Friend zoned real hard. And Jorah and Lady Mormont, they have like a little conversation there. That's fun. Yeah. There's just a ton of those sprinkled throughout this scene. And I generally just, obviously we talked about a little bit, but like just how the fireplace room scene like kind of came together, where it's just like Jaime and Tyrion, I think, and then like Sir Davos rolls up. Yeah. Like to me, it was that was really organic, and that was fun how they just kind of compiled that group of characters, and then they're all just kind of like around the fire drinking, and they're like, it's so late, we should probably get some sleep. And there's like, you think that's like you're gonna go to sleep?
Yeah.
Like, wait, how? It was in the night. Was it morning? So it was like super early morning when they attacked.
Yeah, like I wonder how long, like was it a couple hours after that episode that the battle takes place? Was it
they don't really
24
explain.
Hours after?
Yeah, they don't really explain. It's definitely that night, because somebody rolls up and says they'll be here before the sun comes up. So it's that night they attack for sure.
It'd be unfortunate if the battle took place in the morning. That would have defeated a lot of things. But you think you would have thought the White Walkers would have just like put a little more pep in their step and had the full like 12-hour night to like do this, but it seemed like they kind of
honestly
rolled up 2 p.m. 2 a.m.
in a fully, and this is really where I think they struggled a little bit with the 6 episodes. Like in a full season, this really should have been like a couple of episodes, like the calm before the storm. They're waiting. Maybe even the sun comes up again, and nothing happens. They're still waiting. And but we keep getting all this dialogue stuff and all these characters, and they're preparing and all that stuff. It's just very like, here's all this great stuff, and now the horses are here at the end, and shit's gonna pop off next episode. Warning.
It is like an hour and a half episode, hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. So I think if the season was like a full 10 episodes, they would have ended with the Night King rolling up, and like basically everyone, that was the cliffhanger, right? The episode where everyone's like seemingly at a loss, and then it opens up with the 20-minute sequence of Arya sniping him and all that stuff. So I think the reason this feels so rushed is because it was 6 episodes, and you're watching like continuous,
nonstop.
So much happened. Like it's episode 3, and already like poof, we're done with that storyline.
Right. Yeah. And that's,
can I say I called it though?
Did you?
1 episode. Battle of Night King's gonna be over.
Yeah. Did you?
They're gonna solve the Walker.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna solve the White Walker problem 1 episode. The rest of the season is gonna be on the Iron Throne.
That's another really big hang up. Like they could have made a whole season dedicated to the White Walkers assaulting all these different places. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even though that is literally one of the best television episodes I've ever watched. It is when you get to the end, and don't get me wrong, I jumped off my couch when Arya came flying. But by the time the credits rolled, I was like, damn, dude, like that's it. Like that's all we're gonna get for that.
Toast.
But rewatching this show, there's not a whole hell of a lot of White Walker stuff at all.
I was about to say, but for the level of threat that the Army of the Dead posed, like I would say you had like 5 episodes of White Walker stuff
Yeah,
in like the entire series.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
at the very end, that was as much of a conflict in the story than who sits on the Iron Throne.
Right. And I think that when we get to the bells was for me what pulled this whole season together. Like, because I was pissed at the end of the long night. I'm not going to lie, because I love the Night King. I love the White Walkers. I wanted to know more. I want to know what the hell they were doing here. I wanted to know what they wanted. I wanted more depth.
That's
And
called
there
a
was
prequel.
Right. And there's a lot. I got caught up in the theories
Oh, yeah.
around the time where people were,
Danger.
people were calling out awesome theories about it. So
fun fact, you can still go on Reddit today and read those like 6-year-old posts of people just like going bananas on theories on Reddit, and they all just in hindsight were like, you guys were way overdoing it.
Right.
They are going to end this in 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Stop thinking.
Yeah. But like, it's just, I mean, the White Walkers show up in the first episode of the series.
Yep.
And the entire series, you're, you know, I don't know, led along
people like
about
Chad thinking that the Night King was going to sit on the Iron Throne because like there was snow very early on in King's Landing and like those scenes and stuff. So early on, the idea was laid like this was any person's game. Like Chad probably was hoping that the Night King would go all the way to King's Landing and sit on the Iron Throne and be like, this is how it ends.
Yeah, but I'm just saying for like the amount of emphasis they put on how crazy the White Walkers are, like their legends, how fabled they were.
Right.
The amount of time that this whole story arc actually took place, like runtime, screen time.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours
laughable.
Maybe. Yeah, I agree.
Because
ideally,
it's really the show boils down to 2 story arcs: Dany versus Cersei, and humanity versus the Night King.
Right. And we'll get to why I think when we get to the bells, I think it pulls the story together neatly for me. But ideally for me, like they would have got slaughtered in this episode. Maybe 3, 4, 5 of them survive and dip out to King's Landing, and then all the shit pops off at King's Landing in a different way. That would have been the way to emphasize this White Walker thing, because it does really feel like at the end of this episode, like it was just a waste. Not a waste, but like a distraction, I guess.
Yeah.
The issue I have with the White Walkers, and this is really just like I have an issue with this trope, and it's these very hyped up existential threats to humanity are hive mind threats where you just have to kill like the head and instantly fixes your problem. That's just like an annoying trope for me all the time.
Yeah.
Just let it be more complicated than that.
Hate to see it.
They started it a little bit where they're like when they go over the wall to get the example, they're like, this White Walker turned these ones, so kill that one. Some of them go away. That's kind of cool, but like yet again, he turned all of them, so voila.
Right.
And there's a little, and we're clear. We're in episode 3.
Yeah. Let's get into the episode, because that's really the heart of it.
But the thing I wonder though is like, did Arya use like some of her, not powers, but like the god of death, like to get through? Like she basically was a wisp, and then she just like appears.
How'd she get past the other like?
It was just
generals,
the hair flick from from the
yeah,
one
dude.
White Walker.
I think honestly, it's that they were. I mean, at that moment in the episode, the battle's over. Like the White Walkers are just standing there chilling, like they're waiting for the Night King to do what he needs to do to Bran, and then they're gonna dip out. I don't think they're even paying attention. So I think she's just running by. I don't think she's like using any kind of magic zip past him or anything.
Though.
She's quick, yeah.
But like none of them is gonna be like.
I don't even think they care. I don't even think they care.
It is a hive mind because like his focus was completely on Bran. Like he had won, so guard was completely down.
That's true.
And you got Ninja Arya here,
right?
I will say the other thing. I'll just get all my gripes out for this episode, then we can talk about how awesome it was. Sorry. Oh shoot, what was I gonna say? What was the other one? Oh my gosh.
Did you watch the episode?
Now what are we talking
So
about?
at the beginning, everyone's lining up
Yeah, let's
outside.
start at the
Oh,
beginning.
this is what it was.
Oh, here we go.
Out of the people who died in this episode, none of them were really like major characters.
Oh, I disagree.
Like
wholeheartedly.
Jorah, super sad. Love that guy. Hate to see it. But like, I would have loved like one of the big, like four,
Dany.
like Dany, Jaime. I mean, obviously Dany's not going to die, right? Because she's like the queen. But like
Plot
somebody
armor.
like Jaime, somebody like, I guess you can't kill Jon, but like, I don't
As,
know.
as you're
I
going
feel like-
through it, you see that they can't do it.
Sansa?
And I'm sorry, but Theon is a major character through this
Oh
entire
no,
series.
I loved that one.
yeah.
That one was amazing.
And so is Jorah. Like those are two.
I'm
huge
not taking
characters.
away from like the deaths that did happen. I'm just saying like some of them were like, oh man, it sucks to see that guy go, but like it would have been super impactful to have
Someone in the crypt should have
a
died.
lot of like a bigger character die, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Someone in the crypt should have died because nothing really happened. I mean, all the normal people died. But and that's my kind of gripe with this episode. Maybe it was better when it was like completely dark, but like so many Unsullied survived, so many Dothraki survived, so many
Grey
Northmen
Worm.
survived.
That would have been a huge death that very
Right.
easily could have happened and would have been believable.
Yeah, there's a lot of people left over in what otherwise visually looks like no one's left except all the main characters, but then we still were up the King's Landing with like plenty of people. And Winterfell isn't that big, but all of a sudden like thousands of people like Dothraki, Unsullied, Northmen are fitting in this castle.
They explain that it's half from each of them.
Yeah.
The Dothraki, the Unsullied in the next episode, half of them all died. And even I think the Winterfell people too.
What I'm saying is like
Out of
inside
those half,
the
none of
castle,
the like
half of them won't fit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
right. They're not staying.
a lot of
inside
them weren't in the castle.
Yeah, they
But
weren't in the castle.
leads to my next gripe. Out of the like million bodies that were there, magically during Arya's scene, nobody exists in Winterfell at all.
What are you talking about?
Where Arya's sneaking through the halls and trying to sneak through the
that was
library. And all
inside.
that.
Yeah, that's it. Like deep
But
in the
still,
library.
Like there's literally like a million bodies going on and like all
Outside.
around this battle
outside.
inside the keep. They've already broken through the gates. Like people are running for their lives. And
You
then
want like World War Z just like flooding.
Yeah.
well, I
You
get
got a lot
again
of that in this episode.
for the purpose of those scenes, right? It's got that horror vibe, really
Oh yeah.
racks up the tension, makes total sense from like a storytelling, like presentation perspective. But logically, I'm like, dude, there's like a million people here. You
That's what I'm
cannot
saying.
tell me
is-
that there are empty places anywhere besides in the crypt where they like lock themselves in.
That's the other thing. Like they say half of everyone was there, but like no one's outside of Winterfell. Everyone is inside the castle. Everyone. There's no non-undead people outside the castle walls. Everyone retreated within the walls.
Well,
They're literally
those that-
hitting the walls, crawling over.
Well, like all of the Dothraki that were outside died.
Yeah.
And they
yeah.
ran
And
in.
then like
And-
half of the Unsullied that were outside that didn't get like, retreated into the fort.
Yeah.
They died. Like
Yeah,
there were
for
a
sure.
lot of people that died on humanity's side outside of the keep
Yes.
for sure.
Correct. But the ones that show up to King's Landing, that many were not physically inside that castle.
That's true. Now I see what you're saying.
Especially when like the main panning arc like shots are just like the main hero like people just like fighting by themselves and it's
Yeah.
like where is everybody right
Yeah.
now? Is everyone dead? Weird stuff like that.
All right.
But,
gripes aside,
gripes
let's talk
aside.
about
Great episode.
Yeah.
I did remember the dragon fight being a little cooler, but it was very cinematographic. I just thought there was more fighting. But I think there's just like I could see everything this time, so I have a
Yeah,
completely
that's
different
the
take
big
on the
thing.
episode.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me is especially in the opening sequence, like when the Dothraki light their swords. That seems
That's so
awesome,
cool.
dude. I don't care what you say.
The Red Lady, I love her part in
Oh.
all of this at the end.
Yes. Joe says, wait, this guy can raise the dead? Let's put the women and children in the crypts.
Yeah, terrible
with all
idea.
the dead people who are fully suited in armor because that's how they bury them.
Yeah, terrible idea, but that would have been really, really cool for them to bring back some of the dead Starks. I don't know why.
Oh.
Ned's down there.
But Ned's got
pretty
no head,
sure.
That'd be,
I'm not sure about Cat. I think Rob is down there. I mean, it would have been super cool to at least see a zombie Ned. But yeah, that aside, I think Tyrion's actor, whatever his name is, Peter Dinklage. He called that one out like that doesn't make any sense before the show ended. So,
yeah.
But anyway, the Dothraki, like when they're riding up, dude, I love that whole sequence. I love seeing Ghost running with them, and then I love the fires going out in silence.
That was such a cool visual.
And
John
when
and Danny watching from the cliff, and it looks very. Everyone's like, the Red Lady comes back, and she's like actually contributing, and she has a total redemption in this episode multiple times.
Yeah.
But she does that,
and where did she come from? By the way,
she left Westeros and came back. She just wrote.
Yeah, but like, I mean, maybe it's just I'm forgetting where she left off, but she just like
we last
Davos
saw her.
Was like, you better get out of here. I'm gonna kill you.
She was on Dragonstone, and she introduced
Danny and John. That was the last we saw her, and then she has the discussion with Varys where she's like, I have to die in this land just like you.
That makes sense.
And all her little
like in my mind, the last time I remember her is when Davos is like, if you come back around here, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she rolls up and she's like, I'm gonna light everything on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, her all of her little like even like Arya many seasons ago, like the last time that she saw her was when she bought Gendry from the Brotherhood. Right. And she was pissed off at her for that. But she was like, I'll see you again. I mean, she's the one that basically told Arya what she had to do.
And I do like when she shows up, she lights the swords, walks in, says, Davos, you don't have to kill me. And then she immediately looks at Arya. So she knows that do you feel like she knows that she's going to kill the Night King? Because I think she's
hearing it out because like her whole life is just kind of like naturally guided by the Lord of Light.
Right.
So all these interactions she's had with all these people, and she kind of shows up here and she's like, okay, this is making sense. Like you're here. And like, she just like inherently knows, like she's a good people person. She can read them. Like she knows Arya is not the same Arya she was.
Yeah.
So she's just putting it all together. Like you have purpose and I'm not going to say exactly what that is, but use your imagination.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, what did she tell Arya in the library? Like something about like telling her that she would kill many people with blue eyes or something.
Yeah, that's a quote from when she sees her with the Brotherhood. She says that to her. It's
brown eyes.
The colors are swapped to emphasize the blue. She says like green, blue, and brown in the first quote, but this time she says blue last, obviously. But I thought that was really cool that they brought that into it. But I want to go back. Yeah, I want to go back to the Dothraki though, and then so it all goes out, and then there's like that one horse that comes flying through. That's like terrifying, dude. I loved it. Danny and John up on the hill. In the background, you can see the freaking horde moving. You couldn't see that the first time. Like that was just pitch black. You could actually see them running behind, which I thought was really awesome. And then I really, really, really enjoy the freaking wave of them coming, dude. That is like one of the coolest shots where the Unsullied have their spears out and there's just that giant wave of the whites coming. Like it gave me kind of vibes from the waterfall scene at Hardhome when they all come flying over the cliff. But I let Brady watch this episode. Hate me if you want, is what it is. But when he saw that, he looked at me and went, "Oh, holy crap!" I was like, "Yeah, dude, like this bad situation going on here." But
on the original, on the original airing, that is right. That was like one of the really confusing parts because literally it's just Unsullied and then blackness like hits them.
Yeah,
like, you don't even see them like physically coming. And then like, was there? Oh, that dragon got totally torched by the dragon. The giant got torched by the dragon. Completely didn't see that last time because it was just fire burning darkness. But this time you're like, oh, okay, it's like you can see what's happening.
You can see what's going on. Yeah, this episode, man, is like 1,000 times better now. So if you've watched this episode once and you hated it because it was dark, you should go rewatch it because it's well worth the rewatch because you can actually see what the hell's going on.
The 4K update that Nick talked about a while ago. That it fixed it. I watched it on the app. I didn't watch the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I think we all watched it on the app.
Yep.
Yeah, so
it's a good time.
Yeah.
Good job, HBO.
And then I really like the use of the blizzard throughout the episode. I think it makes awesome freaking imagery with the dragon fire and the like. They use silence a lot throughout the episode too, where it's just like quiet, but you can hear like just the blizzard blowing or the dragon fire, dragon wings and stuff, which I thought it was really cool. But some of the imagery there with the blizzard in the background and the dragon flying through, it's just super cool.
And
above
the
the
blue
clouds.
Flames, dude.
Oh, blue flames, love them.
Blue flames, so good.
Yeah.
And this is a huge thing later in the season. And even
later, you mean like 2 episodes later?
Yeah, later in the season. But even on like the wall when is it Viserion?
Yeah.
Burns down the wall with the blue one. I was like, okay, yeah, like blue dragon fire definitely has more punch because it's cold, it's ice, like it's gonna like tear through stuff. But the regular dragon fire just like tear. Like there's so much force apparently that comes out. Like it's more than just flame. It's like a nuclear explosion coming out of their mouth because everything just
blows
away. So yeah, I thought it was very cool when Dany was getting chased down, just like constant like blue fire behind her. That was very, very cool. And it's not like there's very many things we get to see like so much dragon activity.
Yeah, that was what and it's really what has me most excited for House of the Dragon is this is really the only episode that we see dragon on dragon action because most of them are Dany's dragons, right? So they're not going to be fighting. So I really liked it. I loved the chaos of the blizzard when they're running into each other and they're trying to, and then Nick called it out already. The shots where they go up above the clouds and the moon is up there. Like, dude, it's like the imagery in this season. It's like, say what you want about the writing, but the visuals in this season, especially this episode, are amazing.
It's almost like exactly the same level of like chase scene as we got in Boba Fett with the Vespas. I mean, right on par.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
wow. Ouch.
No, it was really cool, and I again, like we've talked about many times already, just the chaos of battle and flying dragons at God knows how fast through a blizzard where you can't see anything, and you're just like running into other dragons.
And the trees. I love when he's like down in the trees, flying through the trees and stuff. I also like the kind of behind the scenes shots of them fighting, specifically with Theon when he's protecting Bran and they like look up and they're fighting right there. It's so cool looking.
Good.
I like how John like perched there because like he was kind of keep his mind on the mission. Meanwhile, Danny's just like, ooh, burn.
Let's just murder some crap.
She cannot follow a plan.
She cannot.
No.
To be fair, though, I think the plan obviously looked like it was to get the dragons on the White Walkers, and the blizzard pretty much scrapped that because as they're flying toward, at least John's flying towards the White Walkers, the blizzard comes out of nowhere. So I love that. I love this whole sequence so much more before they light the trenches, dude, because it's just like you can see what's going on. It's so cool.
Right. It like made sense tactically what they were trying to do before like the trench thing, and then poor Grey Worm had to pull the bridge.
Another great silence moment, just his breathing in the mask as he's waiting to pull it.
He was a champ. Like he just doesn't care. Like
I mean, I think
but
he's
he does though
now,
too.
But
he does, like he's so I guess brave, but at the same time, like they do take the time to kind of show like he's kind of scared shitless at times. Where he's just like, man, he's like, this is really not good, and he pulls himself together. But they take the time to show him pulling himself together, because that kind of it just reminds me of that really good scene where I think it was Missandei. He was telling how
Yeah, they're not afraid of anything, but like she made
he
him.
used to be afraid. Like that's like what he overcame, and that's why he is who he is and everything. And I just think back on that, and like they kind of make it a point to revisit that in all these like very dire moments that he gets put in.
Well, like I just love how she humanized him.
Yeah.
Man, because Grey Worm's a great character. Somebody I didn't expect to make it all the way through the series.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I really didn't either.
There are quite a few people who made it all the way through the series. I was like, I thought you were like a 3-episode character.
Yeah, for sure.
Max.
For sure.
Yeah, but you think about it, like when you start this, go back and start episode 1 again, you're like, damn.
Yeah.
I also want to point out the dragon glass everywhere, like the placement of the dragon glass everywhere. They have it on the walls of the castle.
Like, put it on those little wood, like
things,
barricades.
I didn't notice this until I rewatched this episode today, and I didn't notice that the Unsullied have it on their shield on the side that they hit with the shield. Like, dude, that's freaking brilliant, man.
Anything so that might hit a White Walker, basically had it on it.
Yeah, it's just that one section of they could have easily just put a whole freaking ring around it. It's just the one section they used to hit. I'm like, dude.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, that is so rad.
Yeah.
So they're just slicing dudes with their shields.
One of my favorite things about the undead is their very slow but effective ingenuity. When like they just start dropping themselves on the fire trench, and then there's like it's just piecing together, and everyone's just like I think the Hound was watching, and he was just like, he was not happy with the situation.
Not good.
Yeah, I like that. I like another scene that I love is and this is right around where we're talking now, but Bran warging into the crows and then flying through the battlefield. That dragon that you see when he comes up on the Night King, pure blackness. Had no idea that was even there. you didn't really even see the dragon until it comes up and you could see the Night King. So it's cool to see that he's flying like slowly by the dragon. The music, I gotta point out the music in this episode, dude. It's especially that final score, like best music in the series, hands down.
I completely forgot. I remember you said something about
that piano score, man.
Like before, then I watched it and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot like how
it's so good.
Is it a piano and a violin? Something crazy is going on there. It's very basic too. It's very simple. It plays off of the silence they had, and then it just kind of is this very, very. Somber. It's almost upbeat though. It's got a weird like energy to it, to where it's like when you know what's gonna happen, like Night King's gonna die, but like in hindsight, you're like, are we happy that the Night King's about to like murder everyone?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Cersei be the Night King. That's the rest of the series.
So we do have to point out little Lady Mormont going out like the beast that
what
she
a
is.
champ.
So good.
At
what
times,
a great way.
Mike would be like messaging me while he watches it like during the day. And at one point I was like, wait, don't say anything. He's like, haven't you seen it? I'm like, there's so much I forgot.
Right. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to bring it up and totally forgot.
Yeah.
But
she got him though.
The littlest warrior taking down one of the biggest threats on the field, bro, in her dying moments.
Absolutely loved it.
I like how that started off as like she isn't. Well, I mean, she did kind of just stand there and got smacked.
Right. Yeah, she did. Yeah.
but she redeemed herself. But also, I don't expect her to be swinging the sword as well as everyone else around her. But she did just stand there and get smacked really hard by a giant.
Yeah. Literally didn't even fight at all at that first SWAT.
Yeah. Well, like the callback to episode 2, the conversation with Jorah and her, where he's like, you got to go down the crypts, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what? No. Like, I trained these soldiers. My mother was a warrior. Like, I'm fighting. And he's like,
is that her uncle?
Yes. I think she says, thank you, uncle, or I'll see you, uncle, or something.
Thank you, uncle. you suck. Go away.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
Super cool. I love the giant. I love that whole sequence. I think it's a fitting end, and then the chaos that ensues after it as they're breaking down and
that's a big
climbing
death.
over the walls. It's a huge death. Yeah,
Yeah,
even
Mike,
though
come on, Mike.
really at the end of the
technically
day,
a very little death, but
technically a little death. At the end of the day, she's only in like 2 or 3 scenes. Like
but
she's
she
such
was
a
like
small
meme
character.
lord. She was
But
meme lord forever.
She
her
was.
screen time
Yep.
equaled almost that of the White Walkers.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
No, great character. Well, and like, yeah, the way she went out was perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
It's funny though, because in those director like expositions at the end of the episodes, I think they said twice on 2 different episodes that she was just going to be like a 1 scene character. But they're like, no, dude.
She's very popular.
Yeah, you could tell that because she's in the end of 6, final episode of 6, and then the first episode of 7, she's back in it rather quickly, first scene or second scene. So yeah, she became like a huge symbol for this, and it's cool that she's playing Ellie in The Last of Us.
Yeah, I was about
to
say
excited
it's
about
going to
that.
be the Last of Us series coming up.
So let's move to the kind of more dragon on dragon stuff going on with the Night King and Jon. I love their little lockup that they have, and he's like trying to aim the thing, which I don't know why I find that so funny that he's so adamant about throwing those things. But I also love his his fall when he gets hit off. He just like falls down. It's so weird looking. But this leads to my favorite Night King scene of the entire series, besides the initial hand raise at Hardhome, is Dany kind of swooping down on him and hitting him with the fire, and then Jon's walk. I think Jon maybe falls off the dragon at this point or something.
Jon had, yeah.
And the fire just like slowly going away, and then he smiles, like he has a little smirk on his face. And I'm like, dude, this is a badass. Like, this is not going to end well for anybody here, but obviously.
I also love how that is explained about 0%. How the Night King can just stand a point blank blast of nuclear dragon fire.
Yeah, I mean, we see it frequently throughout the show that they have like fire doesn't really affect the White Walkers for what I mean. They put it out around them, so yeah, he's just like super cold, bro.
Yeah, but they also make a point to point out like how rowdy dragon fire is.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously it's the middle of the episode, and I'm like, this is not how he dies.
Yeah, right. True.
But even with that, I'm like,
Jon running in will kill him.
Yeah, exactly. That second hand race.
Oh yeah, so good.
I was like, all right, well, this is where everyone dies. End of the show.
And I thought that's where it was going. And I like seeing everyone's reaction to all those people. Like, they're in the fight of their life. Now everything calms for a second, and all the soldiers that just died are standing back up. Like, dude, whoa.
That is called triggering hard mode on the final boss.
Right.
Wait, we're doing that this run? Yeah. Hard mode. Let's go.
Oh man.
Wipe.
Yeah, I love for everything that it is, I would have liked to see Jon and the Night King have some sort of fight at some. But I do like that they kind of stop you from getting that in that sequence where he raises his hands.
Yeah.
The hope for me was that obviously he was going to kill the Night King at some point.
Yeah.
So it's a little irritating to me
Did
because
their best, Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little irritating to me because Hardhome, the Night King the actor that played the Night King at Hardhome is a totally different actor than we get for the rest of the Night King sequences. That actor is like a badass martial artist. He did all the fight scenes on the show. So, but I just don't understand the thought process of firing this dude, putting in a badass fighter, and then we never see the dude fight. Like,
wait,
what?
The Night King be a ninja?
I want him to fight at some point.
No, he's got ice lances and dead people.
Yeah, I'm just not into it, man. I get from a character. I get
favorite
character
from a character
standpoint, and I did read that like he might have had some sort of fear of Jon after watching the Night King or the White Walker get killed at Hardhome. Like he didn't. It just wants nothing to do with it because he already seen him take down one of them.
For Bran. He's going for the gold.
Yeah, this guy, he's in a wheelchair, bro. What's he gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, we could have at least did the hand raise, and then as everybody was standing up, maybe clash swords 2 or 3 times, and then walked away.
Well, that is a common gripe for Jon Snow fans for this whole season. There's all this buildup of like how awesome Jon Snow is and like everything he's meant to be and do, and he doesn't really do any of it at all in this entire season.
Right.
They basically saved his punchline for like the big one.
He does save humanity from another tyrant, but
Right.
what's that mean?
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
People and their theories, like they want it, and just where the show led up to, people want Jon Snow and the Night King to fight.
At first, I was a little like, I'm glad. Sometimes we get some guff about not doing things right directly after things happen.
Yeah.
And this is one reason why I don't like to do that, and I'm glad that we don't. Obviously, this is like a decade later, but if we were to have even had this episode, like if I would have watched this episode right before we came on here to talk about it, I would have been very upset at the ending. But I'm kind of glad that like Jon at the end of the day, like even outside of the fight with the Night King, but like his banishment to the north and then just going out into wildling territory with Tormund.
Literally the end of the show. Do you just want to end it right now?
He just like he doesn't want any of it.
Right.
He doesn't want this.
Yeah.
Like he does what he thinks is right, and like he served his purpose. And if we're talking Lord of the Light, with the Red Lady and the dude that's been resurrected like a million times, like Jon's purpose was served the moment he saved humanity from the tyrant of Dany.
Yeah.
And Tormund was right. You got the real North in you, boy.
Exactly. But like if he would have been when they voted for Bran, I was like, are you serious? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Makes zero sense. But I know for a fact if they would have nominated Jon, he would have turned it down.
Yeah.
Because he does not want to be on the throne.
He would have had the same like terrible time Ned had in King's Landing being Hand of the King. Like that's just not what they do. Like they want to like hang out up north, hunt, chill at the castle, just do like normal like retiree like dad things. Like they don't they don't want to hang out in that shithole and deal with bunch of dumb stuff.
On the New Balance, throw on a pair of khaki shorts and go mow the lawn. That's what.
For the 7 or so years that Ned Stark after the war, like he was New Balancing around Winterfell, like just raising the kids,
grilling birds,
Yeah.
But no, and I think it's very fitting that Arya was the one to take down the Night King. Just it would have made her entire
pays off
through the series like literally pointless.
Yeah,
like, she learns to be this crazy like assassin, right?
It's not all about her list.
Yeah, exactly.
This person was not on her list, but she was meant to kill them.
And the most important, right?
Yeah.
Weird thought. What would her boy that we like so much all the way back up over in Bravos, like
the man,
when he finds out that she did that, it's just gonna be like, nice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
A girl knows her job, or or like some weird, and like a girl owes a life.
Yeah.
What's the math there? He basically stole a ton of deaths, or are they dead? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
right. It gets real muddy and confusing there. Yeah,
she just goes back. She's like, I killed the Night King. What do I get? Like all the faces? Like,
right.
What do I win?
Yeah, you're basically in my service of hired hitman for the rest of your life. Because
your job. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I don't hate Arya. Like I said, I jumped off the couch in excitement when she came flying through. I don't hate it. I think it pays off her character rather well. I do really like, even though it is somewhat long, the walk up and the piano thing, that whole sequence, the montage sequence there is amazing. Jon going through the castle and everything collapsing in on him.
the amount of slow motion for that like 5 minutes
Yeah.
was not overbearing at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I love Icy Viserion just going batshit crazy over everything in the middle of the courtyard. There,
Bleeding
it's super
ice,
cool.
fire.
Yeah,
Dude, oh, that was
so
awesome.
good.
I will say, since we are talking about Arya, like just her ninja skills when the whites breach the wall, right? And how quickly that turns off when she like hits her head and basically gets concussed, and she's like, I took that as like her being snapped back to reality and being like,
yeah.
oh my god, there's like a million zombies
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, this is bad.
Yeah, and then she just goes back to like old Arya, and she's just trying to like
She was slicing and dicing.
right?
She was in the zone.
I just thought that was like a cool and intentional like flip of the switch that I don't know if maybe is something that maybe annoyed people in this season, that particular moment, but I was like, man, that's awesome.
I think those moments are important because really what we're looking at here, how long is this episode? An hour and 20 minutes maybe?
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time to sit through just a battle. So telling those individual stories in it, it just makes it flow much better. Like, they could have, of course, just done a chaotic battle for an hour and 20 minutes. So I really enjoy that they took the time to do the library or whatever scene where she's sneaking through, and the Hound stuff. Brotherhood stuff.
Serves its purpose, right?
Yep.
Gets stabbed about 32 times.
Right.
One stab for every time he's been resurrected.
And he made it all the way to the safe room. Like,
right.
Kind of okay still. I was like, yeah, he's fine. Like, he only got stabbed like 30 times in the hallway.
I also love how the Hound literally just like hid the entire episode because of all the fire.
Yep. Typical Hound, right?
Doesn't like the fire, man.
Yeah. But man, we gotta talk about Theon.
Yeah.
I like how that was set up. I think that made sense, where he was just like, we will defend Bran. Knowing we'll probably die, maybe, hopefully.
I think it's cool because all the shitty stuff he did to the Stark family, I think it's cool that he goes out protecting the Stark family. I thought it was definitely a fitting ending.
I like how sad Sansa was at the fire pyre over him.
Yeah.
Makes sense. They have that real tight bond there.
Yeah. I mean, man, what an arc, right?
When you're defending the bait, what do you think is going to happen to you?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But man, and just like the conversation he has with Bran, where he tries to like apologize, and Bran, being like the weirdo he is, he's like, if it weren't for what you've done, you wouldn't be here now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Shut up, Bran. Holy crap.
He has Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker syndrome, basically. Like,
yeah, I don't know where it came from though, because he wasn't like that for half of the series. So I get
he wasn't
that
like that until like this season.
Yeah, I get that they're trying to show that he's like losing his humanity because of everything that's going on. But yeah, man, he's just a blunt ass character, and his dialogue sucks through everything.
Yeah.
But I do like their interaction there. I love that Theon tries to take out the Night King. I thought that was super cool. Obviously, he gets walloped by him pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I do kind of like the look of respect the Night King gives down to him as he's walking away. I thought that's how I took it, at least.
Well, like the directors said something which kind of confused me a little bit.
Okay.
They were talking about that conversation, basically Theon like looks at Bran right before he charges the Night King, and Bran's like, thank you. And they explain that as a way of like, Bran knows what's going to happen. He knows Theon's going to charge. He knows Theon's going to die. And he's like thanking him ahead of time. But like, Bran can't see the future, can he?
Yes, he can. Yeah. They explain.
Well, why didn't he just like tell everyone what the heck was going to happen?
Hang on. Because I don't know. This is like time travel stuff, man. It gets real muddy when we start talking about telling people what's going to happen.
See the future.
I think he
that's
100%
what they
can.
said.
100%, because
they're like he sees what's going to happen.
100%.
so
And
that's why he says that to Theon.
that makes me wonder, like, did he set this whole freaking thing up for him to be king at the end? Like, I
Well, he
mean,
does
come
say
on,
at the
man.
very end, he's like, I wouldn't have came this far. If,
Yeah,
like,
why'd you come? Yeah, there are a lot of hints that he can see the future, including standing with the Night King, where he looks down right at the spot that Arya is about to stab him, and even the Night King like gives him a look like, what? Do I got something on my shirt? What are you looking at? You can see it very clearly. So I think 100%, yeah, he can see the future. I think that's how I took the Theon thing. He's thanking him. He knew what was going to happen, and then that look is it's obvious that he was looking where Arya was going to stab him.
Right, but so I think it gets weird because it's like time travel and crap like that.
Yeah, it's always difficult.
But I don't want it to get confused where he can just pick and just like show me, like he can just see any future. It has to be guided, because like he didn't even know that thing about Jon until Sam told him, and they pieced it together.
Yeah, he has to look for it.
Yeah, he has to know where to look, and even like the whole tower thing, like he can't just at will just know everything. He has to go kind of seek it.
Right. Yeah, he's not seeing everything that's going to happen in the future. Yeah.
So he was seeking being king someday. I don't know. It's very weird. I don't know if I like it.
It's like an eventuality thing. Like if you have enough pieces to the puzzle, kind of like the red lady. Like she had enough pieces of the puzzle in the courtyard there. She basically could see the future because she saw enough of the threads to be like, this is probably what's going to happen. And that's what seeing the future really is.
Yeah, you can't sit in that meeting room and be like, Theon, you're gonna die. Okay, sorry, bro. Arya, need you to be on point here when the Night King's by me. Okay, like he's not.
Maybe you could be like, guys, it's not gonna be that bad. Only like 3 of you are gonna die.
Yeah,
I'll let you guess who. But
yeah.
But it's also that whole thing, like you can't like interfere with
right.
time continuum and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just I don't know.
I think that's the big.
His whole character is just, even before this, I was just like, this whole change is real.
Well, back to his tone, like even the previous Three-Eyed Raven, that dude at least had like some life in his like voice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people complained about Bran's storyline in this season because he doesn't really use his powers at all. But I feel like he is kind of using his powers by knowing what's going to happen there. So I don't get that vibe at all. I know a lot of people wanted him to warg into a dragon or warg into the Night King or whatever. I know there were theories that he was actually the Night King and he was coming back to kill himself so he could be freed of it, which I thought would have been really
deep stuff. Right,
it would have been really.
People were putting their thinking caps on, and that's why they were upset because they had like Bibles on Reddit of just what was happening. It's like,
that would be so epic.
Yeah, it would have been awesome. And that's where I think a lot of people get hung up on the season, is they got so wrapped up in the awesome theories that people were putting out that none of them came true. So they're like, what the fuck? Like,
but
did you guys could have got on Reddit and maybe picked 1 or 2 of these things to throw in there, you know?
Right.
But what fueled that fire was I forget what the acronym is. It's like the J plus L equals, or the T plus L equals J, which is like Lyanna Targaryen equals Jon.
Right.
Someone figured that out on Twitter or on Reddit before that was even like a show thing. It's not even a book thing, and they figured it out. So everyone was like, "Ooh, we can like unravel this. Like it's real." So everyone got really jonesed up on the really deep intrigue because someone got that one right.
Yeah.
And that was the big reveal, right? That's huge. So people were jonesing to get the ending right, but they forget there's only 6 episodes.
Right. Yeah.
I will say, man, I loved Arya dropping the dagger and 7. That was awesome.
So cool. Now,
but Theon's crew, man, they really held up.
Yeah.
And decimated the walkers that came. That was
Just
or
with the
wife or
arrows
whatever
too.
they're- Yeah,
Just arrows, yeah. Love it.
and what a scene, like what a feeling that had to be when he reaches back and he scrabs nothing.
Yeah. Oh, it's
He's
gotta
like,
be
oh god.
Yeah. Horrible feeling.
So you start smacking people with the bow.
Yeah.
So to go back to the spiral thing that we were talking about earlier, if you notice when the Night King dies, the stuff that's closest to him pops first, right? It like pops out. So I don't know if it's like popping in a spiral motion out.
That would have been a cool overshot of just like
It would have been a really cool. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about the logo. I don't know that it means anything. I take it as like
cutting room floor.
He's
man.
the middle. Yeah, it just got cut. But
They
if
just
you
need
do notice,
they need that White Walker series. Like,
yeah,
come on.
yeah,
like, what are you thinking, guys?
yeah. I agree.
Why did
John,
you do
that's
that?
what John's all about.
I got to be honest with you. My money is on John is going to have something to do with the White Walkers.
Dude, I
Well,
forgot,
what story are you
I
going to
forgot
tell?
the end of this entire series, and when
Yeah.
I saw like the last scene, I was like, "Well, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
we're just
Like,
gonna go back like 5 seasons and just restart this whole thing."
yeah, something's going to go on with the White Walkers north of the wall. Like, I think it's a no-brainer. I don't know what other story you would tell. Like, just him lingering out north of the wall. We don't
Chilling,
need that.
Drinking with Tormund.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a
Crassus Keep,
sitcom.
man.
It's gonna be a little
sitcom.
sitcom north of the wall.
Anyway, back to the spiral thing. I love the dragon like arching up and then just collapsing down. I think it's a cool visual. There were theories that when John like kind of stands off with him, that he's yelling "Go, go, go." I can't hear it. I don't know if you guys could hear it. He's yelling something. The
Stands off
implication
with
is he's yelling "Go, go, go" for Arya to run and save Bran. It like knowing that it kind of does sound like he's saying "Go, go, go," but again, they don't explain it. They don't say anything about it, so I don't know.
John knew.
John knew, maybe. Yeah.
John always knows. Yeah, so that's episode 3.
Yeah.
So good.
That's a fun one. It's a big one. There's a lot. Once again, it helps when you can see the whole episode.
Yeah.
There's so much more going on in there.
Right.
Man,
But yeah,
I
that's
feel
the
bad
long
for
night.
you guys, man. That first time,
It
it
was
would have
rough,
been
man.
infuriating.
It was
Back
rough.
in the old days when streaming was young and
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. The next episode it's a nice little breath here, called "The Last of the Starks," and we kind of just get like it's basically episode 2, but after the long night. So really, the long night is just like 3 episodes here. And it sets up the bells. So it wraps up the long night, the post long night, and then it the bells. And there a lot of stuff happens here. Obviously, all the fire pyres. That was a cool scene. Though John got to speak at it as he should, but I'm sure Danny didn't. Like, she's starting to get irked by the whole John thing. Because now the battle's over. We're all alive. We're back to where we were.
The seeds planted in her mind, right? That she's not the rightful heir. Plus, she sees how everyone reacts to John's
Freaking Tormund, man. Like, dude, calm down.
Right.
He's
Going
the bed.
a little too hard.
Yep.
Tormund, bro, can you please?
Even
like,
John's
you have no idea what you're doing right now, man.
John does the whole like wife permission look. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that seed is festering and growing, because she sees how much everyone respects John and follows John because he's a natural leader and he's very talented and skilled as a war veteran. And he just unwillingly, like he has no desire, but he just commands everyone's respect, like unintentionally. That's what I was going. And that's obviously a threat to someone who's trying to be queen of Westeros.
Obviously, yeah.
And I just like the scene how like after like the feast, like John's just like holding his head in his room. She walks in, she's like, "Are you drunk?" And he's like, "No." Stands up, like staggers. But like she's
like,
trying
it's my chance. It's my
she's
chance.
trying to lure him back in. She like tries to get him to swear not to tell anyone. She's being all sweet to him, even tries to like make out with him, and then he just like turns cold. He's like, "Gotta tell my sisters, like, what are you talking
You're
about?
my queen.
You're my queen. I love you forever, but like, stay out of here.
Yeah.
No mouth stuff."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
geez.
this is like where she gets really turned off by this whole interaction. Like she gets really cold toward him.
Yeah.
And kind of stays that way because this was like her chance to be like, just don't tell anyone. Like we can just be happy, right? And this is really where it's like very clear, where it's like, right, the only way everyone's happy is if it's your way.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah, good
abundantly
point.
apparent here. She's just like, I can be queen. You just shut up and
Yeah.
everything be groovy. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
but then old Ned comes out and is just like, gotta tell my family. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah. They won't tell no one. I know it. I trust them. Sansa?
Yeah.
Literally Littlefinger
So
V2.
based on yeah, exactly. Based on the spoiler I thought I read, I was like, yep, it's coming. Dany's gonna kill Jon.
Yeah.
She's gonna kill him. Yeah.
And none of your favorite characters live, so it just makes
Exactly,
sense.
Yeah.
right? I'm gonna hate this show.
But how do you process that? But at the same time, knowing there's a Jon Snow sequel coming out, that's where I get hung up with your.
Any show can be a prequel or a sequel. Like I didn't know if it was a sequel or a prequel. I was just like, oh, a Jon Snow spinoff, cool.
Okay, you just stuck with spinoff.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. The article I sent was a spinoff. It wasn't a sequel yet.
No.
So
you just didn't think hard about it.
No,
Which is
because like
That's
I said,
good, yeah.
we were talking about spinoffs, so I was like, oh, okay, whatever. They'll
Yeah,
tell us
Prequel.
another story of John.
Baby Jon.
Up until whatever. He just
Baby Jon.
looks fully grown and has his beard and whatnot.
They'll de-age him.
Right? No, this isn't Disney, Nick. I'll just cast a new actor.
Like sensible people.
Like in the middle of the series.
right.
They'll just John will show up and everyone's just like, who are you?
Yeah.
No, yeah, so that's going on. But I loved like all the side stuff here. This is where Gendry gets lorded. I don't know. Promoted. I don't know the term
Lorded
for that.
fair.
That happens. They have the drinking game. Well, that whole scene, first off, Dany's looking pretty pissed, right? She gets done. I forget exactly. Is it Gendry she's talking to? Yeah. Okay. So Gendry tells her that, or somehow either he tells her or she tells him, like, oh, you're a Baratheon, or I'm a Baratheon, or whatever.
She just knew.
Dany's pissed, right? But then, and it's tense, because she's scowling and
everyone's tense. She's like, oh my God, he's about to die.
Yeah, exactly. But then she's like, psych, you're going to be the Lord of Storm's End or whatever. Is that the place? Storm's End?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's
badass name for a castle too, by the way.
Dude's so awesome.
Is there something in Warcraft like that? Storm's Wind.
Stormwind. But yeah, she lords him. We have the drinking game with Pod, Jaime, Tyrion,
it's my
Brienne, and Tyrion's got to go make things weird. Brienne leaves.
I didn't quite get what's his motivation to just like
so random.
You're a bitch.
You gotta lead into the next scene, Nick. Obviously, that's
I guess.
Yep.
He's usually a little more like
subtle,
like
that. Gets there somehow.
He's shit faced. He loses his cleverness.
The entire
That's
series.
Valid. Okay, valid. Yeah, valid argument.
This is normal state.
Valid.
The Hound's about to get some action. Tormund's over there crying on his shoulder because Brienne's leaving with Jaime or
now
whatever.
he's shit faced. Like
yes.
I
love that.
That scene, I literally laughed out loud. I was like,
yeah,
oh,
so
God,
good.
I love
He's wasted before the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just I don't know. Big celebration happening. And when the Brienne and Jamie thing happened, I was
Did you
like,
see that coming?
nah.
I didn't even see it coming. I've
There
seen it
were,
before.
I mean, you can tell that there were like, there's tension there, right?
Yeah.
But I always thought it was one-sided. Maybe Jamie was just like on the thrill of victory in his drunken state, like, hey, what the heck? I knighted her. Why not?
Yeah. And I think he says he's never slept with a knight before or something like that,
Yeah,
which I
that's
thought
such a
was
good-
It's so good.
Yeah. But
Of all the
I
things
was
he
like,
slept with, he's never been a knight.
Never.
Right, yeah. But I was like, oh, this is great. Like Jamie is away from Cersei. Like he saw that she was literally going to kill him. He's here with the boys, and now he's getting it on with Brienne, who's not his sister. This is amazing. Jamie is redeemed. Everyone's had redemption so far. Theon had his redemption. Everyone is having their redemption. Well, that lasted for about, I don't know,
One
The
episode.
same episode.
40,
Yeah, the same
40
episode,
minutes.
Yeah.
It was a long episode, so
Yeah.
but,
yeah.
I like that about Jamie's character though, because he has that crazy duality where he did the proper thing, where he's like, yep, I'm gonna retire that old life, I'm just gonna chill up here, like I made it through a lot of crap, I should probably just stop, just cold turkey that Cersei drug I like to do. But he flips it, like, because
Always checking you. Always
checking you with Jamie,
Yeah.
because he has this weird duality where like he just can't, and he says it, he knows it, everyone knows it, he just can't not be with Cersei. And there, I don't know, I find some sort of weird honor in that to her, because fast forward, to
that
next
last
episode
where she's like writing in the book. Is that what
yeah,
you're talking
well,
about?
I would say before that, like, just Cersei's just like, even though she's like the villain, but like a little bit of empathy here, like she's lost her mind, the castle's already falling down, and like Jamie shows up, and like all that washes away, and it's just those two, because that's been their whole thing the whole time. It's just you and me, no one else matters, and like at least that didn't fail for her. Everything else did,
Right. Yeah.
and like Jamie's just like fulfilling his own
Boo.
own prophecy. It would have been lame if he just like hung out with. It
I
would
would-
not
I
been
would
his
agree.
character.
I agree.
No. I'm just talking about anything happening for Cersei. Boo. But we'll get back to that when we get to that episode.
Yeah.
I loved how Jamie left though. And like I forget the exact lines that he said. But basically he's like, yeah, I'm just a scumbag.
Yeah.
I
That's
always will
basically
be.
it. Yeah. He says
So-
she's evil and so am I.
Yeah. Man, it was so good, and I was devastated.
So I like it even more.
Yeah.
Ghost and Tormund, they get out of there wisely enough. I thought that was
one,
really
one-eared
nice.
ghost.
One-eared ghost got a nice scar too. But yeah, I like that Tormund left, and like that kind of fulfills the whole like the free people. They are still like free people. Like they're
Do
just
whatever,
kind of
yeah.
helping,
Yeah.
because they ought to and they should. But
Yeah.
I think people for this series, like they had all these very drawn out like conclusions where like, oh, it'd be cool if like Jon became king, but that's not who Jon is.
Right.
Tormund, he's supposed to be north of the wall with his people. Like all the characters full circle, and like when we have conversations and you go like full circle in a conversation without even knowing it, that's like very cool. So for all these characters, they went full circle.
Well, I think Chad
And-
said it many times where it's like everything makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Like
really does,
it's
dude.
what
Yeah.
should have happened, because that's what the people would have done.
Right. Everything here, I think literally everything in season 8. There's little snippets, obviously, that we're bitching about, but everything here is good. I think maybe even elevated to great in some scenarios, especially with what we're coming up on. I know people are really upset about what happens in episode 5. I don't know if you weren't paying attention. You might not have been paying attention because I mean they throw it in your face literally multiple times through multiple episodes, through multiple seasons that Targaryens are crazy. Hey, Targaryens are crazy. Hey, hey, every time a Targaryen is born, they flip a coin for the craziness. Like it's there. It's there in your face all seasons.
But
and
I mean,
just everything that's happened in 7 and 8, it's like, no, she's reached her point.
Right.
Like, people were mad about that.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, they thought like she just kind of turned on a dime, and became the bad person.
Which is absurd. Yeah.
It's always been that way, and the way she's written, the way her character is, like, you want to believe in her. Tyrion is the audience.
Yes.
In this show,
Oh,
like
that's really good. That's
Yeah.
really good comparison.
And he kind of is like throughout most of the show, but like he really embodies the audience, and like he believes in her, wants her to win, believes she's going to do the right thing. It's like she's not. She's going to do what she has consistently done. And who was it, Varys, that called out like a good portion of them, like all the calls that she just burned alive?
Yeah, dude.
Like it has happened the entire time.
Yeah, and exactly like Varys said, like as all those things are happening, like you root for her because those were scummy people.
Yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't change the fact that
make it
she's a psycho.
Right. Exactly.
She just happened to have been exercising her psycho-ness on like people who may have deserved it.
Yeah, I think it's part that, and it's also part of the sheer length of this show is that people just simply forgot some of the shit that she did in the earlier seasons. You know what I mean?
Was the show? I think you guys have said that there were gaps, like it wasn't like a yearly thing.
Yeah.
So it
toward the end
spanned
towards the end for
quite
sure.
a time.
Yeah.
Makes
sense. I think between 7 and 8 it was like a year and a half, maybe even longer than that we had to wait.
Honorable Sweet Boy Joe trusted her. She was the chosen one. She was, and then
I was just like Tyrion, man. Like exactly like Nick said. Like I wanted her to be the person because exactly. Great song. I mean, like, because even through her psychosis, like, the justification and like the cause was good, right?
Yeah,
she freed a ton, like a nation of slaves,
right?
I mean, the calls are just despicable people.
Yeah.
So you're just like, yeah, I mean, her methods are a bit brash, but like she's doing the right thing for the right reasons. Just maybe just terrible execution.
Definitely an end. The ends don't justify the end doesn't just, or the means don't justify the ends, or the end doesn't justify the means. Like her like she should not have melted the whole city, right? Like that's
no.
you know, like and she's just consistently this escalating character where she's just more and more sure of herself, and they explicitly say that. I think Tyrion tells that to Jon, like, someone who is constantly right, told she's right, like, what do you think she's gonna think?
I think she loses some of that though in this season, like specifically with, and I don't remember what episode this is in, but her talk with Jon where she's like, I don't have love here, I only have fear, and then he refuses to kiss her and she's like, let it be fear. I think she's losing some of that confidence, which leads to, I mean, she lost Jorah. We haven't talked about it yet, but Missandei gets her head cut off by the the mountain.
Brutal.
So she had a real rough ride. This lost a dragon, plus, lost another dragon. Yeah.
But
2 dragons at that point.
That scene, though, like Missandei's last words.
Oh yeah,
so cool.
Yeah,
burn.
Awesome choice. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, we're also dealing with like Grey Worm. He was very damaged and slighted by that.
Yeah.
And she's always been an impatient character. Like ever since she was like episode 1. Like she's
Yeah,
an
from the
impatient
very
character.
beginning.
So
Yeah.
she's so close, and she tried patience with like all the plotting and the planning. And she's like, we are at Dragonstone. I can literally fly there right now and just melt that castle before they even have scorpions, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it was a little like it was the bells were ringing and she was just kind of chilling there on her dragon. She's kind of looking around, everything's going right, and then she just loses it. Like she just lost it.
It's again the director's like segment. They're like exactly like you were saying, Nick. She's chilling, you know, they've won, the bells are ringing, but she like looks over and sees the castle, the keep, right?
Yeah.
And then she's just in a flash reminded of everything Cersei has done so far, and she just loses it.
Yeah, I think that it would have went a little bit. It would have went a long way to maybe show like a montage of all the shit that was going through her head, because that can seem like a little flip of a dime thing. But
That's
when
not
we
Game of
don't
Thrones,
know,
you gotta take notes, bro.
I think again,
watch it 5 times.
I've benefited from binging the entire series in like a month,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, dude, it is so on the wall. Like,
oh yeah, dude,
it is so very clear. Like somebody who has never, like, I've never read any series, I've never followed anything Game of Thrones until I started watching this and we started doing these episodes. Like, dude, it is so clear from the moment Dany like stops being, you know, the first few episode version of Dany and starts being like the real Dany. It's like, yeah, she's gonna like it just takes the wrong word and she is gonna lose it. So when this happens, I'm like, well, yeah. Like
I agree, man. I think that like I know that people think they rushed the writing here. I think this is where they were heading, dude. This is a 100% from season 1 where they were heading. I guarantee you, in the snippets that George R.R. Martin gave them for this final season, that's in there. She flips, burns the whole city. I guarantee it.
You don't even have to show anything outside of what already happened earlier with Missandei. Like, just that alone is like would make her flip, let alone all the other garbage.
Yeah,
but
all the stuff that happens to her specifically, and then all the other characters telling you Targaryens are mad through the entire. I mean, her father was the Mad King. We hear about it consistently through the whole show.
And I have something to say about that when we get there in a few minutes.
Okay.
I mean, I was gonna say like I do want to. I mean, we're in episode 5. And really the start of it is just like a short siege. We already talked about how the Golden Company gets blown out of the water.
Right.
She easily nukes all of Euron's navy. She then nukes the walls, right? And then the gate. They all get in. And that's where all these very strong parallels started to just kind of pop up. And I mean, I don't know where to start because there's so many good ones, but like whether it's Jon becoming a Kingslayer, Queenslayer, like same exact situation there. Wildfire caches blowing up that her psycho dad put in the city.
Okay. Yeah. You brought this up. Perfect. So this is one of the big like symbolism things I was telling you about, Nick.
Yeah.
So like obviously Dany is nuking the city. And because of that,
carpet bombing it, which is really cool looking.
Yeah.
And it made me just the scale, like when Cersei's watching from afar,
right?
Like just how big King's Landing is.
Yeah.
Like it's huge
because
she was so far away.
Right. Yeah.
But you see like the wildfire exploding and it just like puts in perspective like how crazy the Mad King was and how everyone perceived his psychosis is totally dwarfed by Dany.
Oh yeah,
who is
absolutely.
Like a million times exponentially more crazy than the Mad King, because like the wildfire explosions are like
minuscule, in
a giant vat of soup of fire, right? And it's just like as that's happening, I'm like, oh, that is so cool because you're just totally like minimizing the craziest person this world has ever seen.
Yeah,
with what is going on right now.
That's a really good, really good point that I didn't even pick up on. But that's a great point. I also really appreciate that when she starts burning the city, you never see her again from like her point of view. Like she's just the horror in the sky from that point forward. That's a cool touch. They could have easily zoomed in on her as she was doing everything, but.
Well, yeah, it was like John's perspective, Davos,
Yeah.
just a ton of people. And even before that, before the fighting like really started, was when you have Jaime moving through the city, when you have Arya and the Hound moving through the city, like that's all very cool sequences.
Yep.
And I like that because it brings you down into like there are tons of people in the city, and a bunch of them are going to the Red Keep. Sad on them, but it wasn't much safer outside of the Red Keep because I was like, man, she just going to town on the city, and like she didn't even like make it right for the Red Keep. She was like, I'm going to carpet bomb the city, half the city, then I'll get to the keep later.
Yeah. I do, because we did breeze over it. I do just need to briefly bring up Tyrion and Jaime's last interaction there in the tent before he frees him. Dude, that's the one that gets me super emotional, man. Like when he's like, you're the only one that didn't treat me like a monster and all that stuff. Great ending between those two. I loved any interaction they had in the series. It had an awesome brother vibe to it, you know? But I did want to bring that up because we just...
No, they have amazing chemistry
so good.
in every scene that they're in. We need something else with those two actors in it together.
I agree.
But yeah, that was a great scene. And then of course, like fast forwarding to Tyrion going down into the tunnels where he told Jaime to escape to, and that heart-wrenching scene.
Before that though, old Euron crawling out of the water, go figure, and Jaime being there. That was
crawling out of the water.
That was like a brutal, like Euron's just like, he's just nasty. But that
OP.
fight,
I love that fight too. Brutal. Yeah, it's super brutal. And then I love him at the end where he's just like, I'm the one that king. Yeah, it's so good, dude. He's just a cocky little ass. I love it. Even as he's dying, his dying breath.
Buddy cop movie.
Joe's still hanging out, man. Holy cow, what are you doing up so late? Yeah, buddy cop movie with Jaime and Tyrion. Oh boy, that'd be great.
Set in Westeros.
Yeah, I think the guy who plays, I'm gonna look him up. The guy who plays Jaime, is a very good actor, and if he's not in a lot of things, he needs to be in more things.
I don't know that he is. I know he's done a couple of movies since Game of Thrones.
He's just Jaime.
Yeah. I think
like
there's
the whole
one
sister thing really like gets
really
people,
threw you through a loop.
So, maybe they're not into that like typecasting. Not many people are looking for incestuous actors.
Anyway, back to Danny nuking the city.
Thanks, Joe. He said we're his favorite people while he plays Tower Fantasy.
What a guy.
What were you saying, Chad?
I was saying back to Danny nuking the city. I just wanted to bring that scene up.
Yeah, for sure. And when more of our other characters moving through the city, you have Arya and the Hound. There's a good interaction there on the map room. Now, granted, this pivots where I thought the map room was, and all that, because like it's way down, like ground floor ish, kind of.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because it's like at the bottom of all the stairs that Cersei's coming down, basically, because that's where her and Jaime run into each other when she gets all the way to the bottom of the stairs by herself.
You're right.
But that's where Arya and the Hound part ways before the Hound goes up the stairs.
Oh no, you're right, because that council room.
Yep.
That's the Tower of the Hand that they're coming down, I think, because Joffrey says something about being the little bitch that he is, that he has to climb all the stairs in the Tower of the Hand or whatever. So
come see his dad or whatever. Or his grandpa. So those are cool scenes, and now see Jaime making his way through like the tunnels and stuff, get all the dragon skulls again. And then, outside wise and all that chaos, you have the standoff with the surrendering Lannister troops. Jon Northerners, Davos, and Grey Worm, that was intense.
Just
and
Very.
chucking that spear, dude.
the way they sync the energy between like the bells,
Everything,
her
yeah.
hovering, and like everyone just felt it. Like it was like
Yeah.
it's not going to go good at all. And
Oh
then
yeah.
Grey Worm
You
just
knew it.
like he's just like, I know where this is going. Let's get to it. And he just like launches that spear.
Yeah,
and
man. Big like Grey Worm in this episode, man. Like I get it. Okay, you watched your girlfriend get her
The
head cut
only
off by these
he's
people.
ever loved in his entire life.
I get it. But like, especially when they're killing the kneeling people, like maybe at the end of this episode or the beginning of the
next
first one, it's like,
episode.
holy crap, dude! Like, what are we doing here? Like these characters, like I felt like he flipped like a switch. Like I didn't see him being like that at all. I get why he's doing it. I get it. But it's just like
Glenn, you gotta
even seeing
remember-
John fight off like his own guys and stuff and kill it, like it was like,
Yeah,
dude, it's just mass
That's
chaos.
that's the one that got me, was like the Northerners just
Yeah.
going and killing civilians.
Yeah, dude.
Like
it
I
was
could see them
intense. Yeah.
maybe joining Grey Worm and killing
The soldiers.
the
Yeah.
well, they don't know at
sure.
first like what the order is. Like obviously there's like, okay, we're back to fighting. So
Yeah, then they're like, oh, let's just rape and pillage everyone. And,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that
right.
doesn't
It's
seem
like,
a
what-
there's always the
Northern
bad apples in the
thing.
group. That
Yeah.
Okay, but there's a lot of freaking bad apples in that
Right,
group,
like
man.
everyone that was
Everyone.
with John.
Now in
Grey
defense of Grey Worm, like the Unsullied and the Dothraki, like this is where the whole note about like these foreign invaders really like shines, and it's because like they're in a foreign land. Clearly all these people seem to suck, so let's just like get this over with. Like just like
Yeah.
Danny, like they just kind of move into that mindset of like conquerors.
Yeah.
So like what are we waiting for?
Plus, just like how loyal Grey Worm is to Danny.
Oh yeah.
Like he'll literally do anything she says, and he
Right.
knows like what's happening. So he's like,
Yeah,
"Just
whatever.
kill them all."
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's what we're doing.
yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
She said do it.
I looked up Jaime Lannister is played by Nikolai Coster Waldau.
Yeah,
But
that's
And he is in an upcoming or maybe already out Netflix movie
Shot
called
caller.
Against the
Oh.
Ice.
Watching it.
Ooh.
It's him versus the Night King.
Yeah, exactly. The
Uh,
alternate timeline of Jaime versus the Night King. Yes.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the map floor real quick. I love
Sure.
the imagery there of
Yeah.
the everything collapsing in on Cersei's little plan that she had. I thought that was a cool way to
the
show
other-
everything collapsing.
The other moment of symbolism that I was talking
Yeah.
about for Nick, or to Nick, I should say.
Did you guys pick up on it?
I saw this as they see each other for the first time, they go, they embrace, and then like the palace is crumbling around them while she's standing in the middle of her map of world domination. And
Yeah.
it's just like so perfect, showing that like their entire world, like everything that they stood for, that they strived for, like just crumbling
around them.
And
Yeah.
it's just like, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah. I thought it was great. man.
Not the same effect when it crumbled to their death. I thought that was so lame.
Oh, really?
No,
Interesting.
I love that bit.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. I know.
They
you
couldn't
wanted-
get out.
You wanted more. You wanted somebody else to kill her. I get it.
I
I mean, Danny
did
killed her.
so bad. I wanted
killed her.
Arya to, even though the Hound, by the way, another beautiful scene between the Hound and Arya.
On the map as well, right? A lot of good shit happening on that map floor in this episode.
Well, it started on the stairs. Did it end on the map?
I think
I
they were on
think
the
right
map
in the
when they were
middle of
talking.
the floor there, yeah. But yeah, that was such a touching scene. Of course,
Yeah.
the Hound is succumbing against
Just
his
death.
his will, just being like, I gotta do the right thing here. Like, I actually care about somebody. Like, if you continue down this path, Arya, you're gonna be just like me, and
Yeah.
nobody will be like me. I don't even want to be like me. Like,
Yeah.
I was
So
like,
good,
ah,
man.
dude. But I was hoping that she would have been like, yeah, and then like left and be like, but I want to kill Cersei.
Yeah. I know. I
Instead-
know a lot of people wanted her to put Jamie's face on and kill Cersei. I think that would
Ooh, yeah,
would have
that was
been
the
really
theory.
cool. That would have been really
that
cool.
actually would have been rad.
Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that Jamie would have had to die to get that face onto Arya, which wouldn't have been, even though he ended up dying. I don't think it would have felt out of character for Arya to kill Jamie just to get his face to kill Cersei.
Yeah.
So I really like their end scene there. First off, Cersei's her acting in that is amazing. Even when they first meet up with each other, and she's like, she doesn't care. She's like, you're hurt. Like, she doesn't care about any of the shit that's going on. She's just like, you're hurt, and she's like touching his butt. So good, dude.
Yeah,
and then
because like her whole like charade is over. It's everything is fallen. She's like,
because this is after the Hound comes up the stairs, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
And I love like I said, I love Qyburn. I think he's an awesome character.
Dude
goes out like a bitch, man. It's great.
That death was shocking to me, just with how like nonchalant it was. Just like
just nothing. Right. Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, but I think I just hated Cersei so much that like I was like, this is how you're gonna die.
Yeah, with
just
the one she loved
in a tunnel with the person you love. Just like no one's gonna.
I mean, here
no one gets that satisfaction.
Horrors.
Basically, it's not worth it.
I mean, I get it. I personally was just like, man, I really wanted somebody to kill you, like not
Full
just
circle.
like collateral damage.
Oh
yeah,
they die in a collapsing like tower castle, and it all started with them together in a broken tower.
Oh yeah.
It's literally how the whole show starts.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Another map note. It cracks, right?
Yes.
Leave it to the map guy.
The north cracks away from.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's the
symbolizing that. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't pick up on that. Here, to be clear, getting crushed with bricks is got to be one of the worst fucking ways to die. Okay, I'm sorry. I get that you wanted a character. Dany killed her 100%. It's her kill.
Her kill.
And it just happened to be the most atrocious way I can think of dying. Just getting crushed by crap.
Yeah, and back to like, it was also pretty sad when Tyrion found them. Like, just poor Jaime's hand, and then he just moves that bricks to see his face, and he just loses it. Like,
perfectly picks the right brick to expose his face. One pool.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and I love that. Like, even though Tyrion despises like Cersei, I think a little bit of
I think
of her very much affected him as well,
just
as
like
Jaime.
Just like he like believed Dany would do the right thing, he constantly thought Cersei was going to do the right thing. Like, he was like the very optimistic person here, where it's like, she has a baby now, she's gonna do the right thing, and even though we might have to fight her, she's still got something in there. Jaime, I'm going to set you free so you can go convince her.
I think that's propelled from the fact of their interaction in season 7, where she doesn't kill him. Like, she could easily have the mountain kill the little midget in the room, right? But she doesn't. So I think that there's still love there between them.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? So I think he's as worked up about both of them dying in the way that they did. Because he set Jaime free to go get her out of there and
to save
both of them. So
while we're in this part of the city, the Hound tackling his brother into the fire, crazy.
That just the last like 30 seconds of that fight where he's getting his like eyes, he's getting Oberyned. And he's like just stabbing the mountain and nothing's happening, and he just starts laughing.
puts it through his eye, which clearly touched a brain if there was one in there. Like, what is making that thing tick?
Yeah,
like, he is Frankenstein.
Yeah, man.
I
enjoy the tick if you're Ash. So that was
right.
Good thought on the Hound's part.
That's Dany's philosophy too.
Yes, clearly. Yeah, I liked that whole fight sequence. They were building up to it for a while. I really like that he kills Qyburn. It shows that he has like no tie to him whatsoever, even though they show
Kyburn
that
tried to
he's like,
exert some like authority over
yeah,
him.
like
He's like, bro.
bro, get out of here.
Yeah.
Even Cersei knew enough to be like, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
like
just
slip
gonna-
right by.
Yeah.
And I once again for my like of Cersei, the Hound was like, Your Grace.
Yeah,
Just so-
yeah, loved it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it just like the fact that the Hound ends up killing the Mountain by the thing he's most afraid of, and of course the reason of their whole strife against the Mountain in the flames is just
Yep.
very
Yeah.
poetic.
It's very, I agree.
And then and then Tyrion before all that, well, his like stupor through the like burning city, like he's just like complete shock, like what just everyone outside, like they spent so much great time outside just showing like the horror of like everything burning.
Oh,
John's once again, John stumbling around in like a fight, like just barely alive. That's all just like really intense. And I do want to talk about Arya and the horse, how it all kind
Yes.
of like ends, because that was like one very confusing for people.
Can we say before the horse, Arya should have died like 17 times?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And the one time they got me, I thought she actually died when she gets like blasted
With
into the alley or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, again, I was like, what a lame way to freaking die. I literally muttered under my breath. I was like, that is how she dies.
Yeah.
They got me.
It was close. I mean, that was close call though. That fire was right there in screen, in picture, and she was right there too. It was like,
right.
Too close for comfort. But the little girl she was trying to save, there's like a lot of like weird focus shots. That little girl had a little white horse.
Yeah.
So when she got like toasted, like this white horse appears. And I mean, there's a ton of stuff like in terms of like all the meaning that you can unpack from this. Like there's a lot of like revelation stuff in it. It's like also like that was the girl that she tried to save, right? Like kind of like reincarnate,
coming back to say, yeah.
Or like even like, which kind of is like a reflection of like herself, like her old self is fully like gone and just kind of like reborn. So
yeah,
that I just like that scene because there's just like so much obscure meaning there. Like it's anyone's guess like what it really means. I guess.
Yeah, I like that. I like that they show. I thought it would have been kind of cool for Davos to maybe see that little girl with the horse drawing back to Stannis's daughter. For whatever reason, they didn't do it. I thought they were even leaning up to it. He walks right past her. So, but yeah, I like the symbolism there.
I guess I overlooked that, and I was like, "Where the heck did this horse come from?"
Yeah,
and then it immediately was like, "Where the heck did that horse go?"
Yeah,
she's riding out of the city, and then the very next shot of her is her walking in the city, and I'm like, "Weren't you leaving? One and two, weren't you on a horse?"
Yeah,
and that's all really very cool imagery of just a charred King's Landing as they assume their victory. Dany gives her ridiculous speech.
Oh, dude.
Tyrion's just like, does that sound like someone who's like gonna be like
done fighting?
Yeah.
I love the shot of her walking up the steps and the dragon wings coming up.
Oh,
dude,
yes.
so good. So good.
I like their banner. Her banner's up just like the Targaryen.
Where did they get that massive banner, by the way, in the heat of all this battle?
They've been lugging around with them for like the past 3 seasons. It's been in a box.
Those banner men were probably like, thank God.
Yeah.
Like I finally don't have to carry that around.
That's why they're murdering
thing
everybody.
about
They're like, we need to hang this banner.
I loved, like, after she gets blasted by the flames, Arya, like her coming out and just the look of her covered in like dust, ash, soot, whatever you want to call it, but then like you see the like fresh blood like contrast against like the gray white. Dude, it was it looked awesome.
Yeah,
Ash was very
to
snowy.
be like in Arya in that scene, like in real life, the actress, just like covered from head to toe. And
it gave me, for whatever reason, it gave me like major 9/11 vibes, like watching the people around 9/11 that they were covered in that same kind of dust. So I thought that was very, very cool imagery as well.
I had to stop myself there. I was like, Nick, that is not a time when you say shout out.
I'm pretty sure I already got us one canceled comment earlier, so we're fine. Just let it roll.
Shout out.
Anyways, back to Tyrion and Dany and all that on the stairs there.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just, I like how that is like shot and drawn out, because like there's a lot of like Tyrion walks the whole stair basically, and then you see her, like she's not even immediately there. Then like Jon rolls up and everyone's kind of taking their places, but like it's really uneasy, and she's just like tunnel vision, like juiced. Juiced.
She is. Yeah, she is.
I mean, and I love when like Jon's walking into to the throne room, and like Drogon is like
covered in
I
love it.
Dude, it looks like snow though. It legit is snow. I'm like, is it somehow like a nuclear winter right now because it's that cloudy? Like it's just freezing. It did snow in King's Landing.
It was starting to snow. It's probably a mixture of both. I love this because we saw the scene of the throne room in like season 1 or 2 where we assumed it was snow. And it's not snow, it's ash and a mixture of it. So I love it. I think that's so cool.
Doesn't look warm.
I mean, my assumption was that the Night King and the White Walkers were going to destroy King's Landing at some point, especially from that flashback. And it's one of...
And they would have made their last stand in Dorne because you love Dorne and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And I really like... they also show another flashback that we hadn't seen yet, which was the dragon flying over King's Landing as she's... So it's like bringing all the flashbacks. So good, man.
They used that. It was like almost the exact same imagery.
Yeah, it really was.
Did they have that at the beginning? Like that's just what's wild to me. It was like, or did they just really well recreate it or use that and then expanded it?
Yeah, that's probably what they did. But yeah, I love the whole throne room thing, man. Especially like she's very chill in that moment for just murdering like mass amounts of people. She's like, oh my gosh, it's like a throne with like 1,000 swords. What did it look like to a 10-year-old? Like, dude, really do you realize what the hell you just did? Like,
and I think that's where like Jon like was convinced. I don't think he was convinced yet walking in there. Like Tyrion was like getting to him, but like he was gonna do the whole Ned thing and be like, hey, you know, you wanna reel it in, like admit to your crimes and try to make some weird comment about like she's like giddy. She's like giddy.
She's like riding again, like she's like Tormund, man. She's riding the high of the battle.
Yeah,
she tries to like lure Jon in again, like for the intimate, like she does, but like
at that point, you want to make out.
Yeah, she's like so you want to make out in all this ruin and despair and death.
Genocide doesn't turn you on.
Yeah, I also I do enjoy how heated Jon is at the beginning of that interaction, where he's like, "Have you seen the people down there? Little kids burnt. Yeah, children burnt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so." I love this whole scene, dude. I gotta be honest with you.
When the stab happened, I was blown away.
Yeah.
Did you think Jon got stabbed?
No. This time, unlike the Ramsay stab, this time was very clear who was being stabbed. But I was just like,
yep.
Jon doesn't die by Dany. At this point, I still was just like, by Dany at least.
Right. Yeah.
He still might die.
Yeah.
But I even like it because you see his arm like move too. Like they don't like make it like weird, like just happen. Like you see, like when as soon as they go in for the kiss, like you see his arm move. Yep. You see his shoulder rotate. I'm like, wow, like yep.
But the way they do it, it almost makes it look like they're just like hugging each other. You know, they like slowly.
That's what she thought.
So good, dude. So good. Yeah.
She dies quick, man. Like,
and then
Mother of Dragons would have a little bit more like
right.
To her. She just
the thing that
blood from the nose and mouth, like instantly, like you must hit some good arteries and like organs in there.
A decorated war veteran. I mean,
That's true.
The thing about this that I did not particularly care for, or just didn't make any sense to me is why Drogon would just nuke the torch and not kill Jon.
Are you kidding? You're kidding, right?
Come on, man.
Dude,
where have you been
come
this whole
on.
time? He's a Targaryen.
What? Dany's the mother of dragons.
No, we forgot to talk about this. When Tormund at the feast, he was like, "Who just mounts a dragon?" Right? And that's when Dany like looked away and she like put it together in her head. She's like, "Oh my god, like yeah, he's a Targaryen. Like that's why he can ride dragons." Not that she didn't know that, but like it was all compiling on top of the fact that like he's the one, like he's the true heir. He has the better claim. And I think there's some sort of thing where like the dragons know, like
yeah, I think
he
they're
was pissed.
smarter.
He wanted to melt him.
They say multiple times throughout the show that the dragons are very smart, and I think he's melting the symbolism of the Iron Throne that just literally just watched kill his mom.
Jon.
Essentially,
He wanted to melt Jon, but then he realized that throne killed his mother,
the issue,
not Jon.
Right?
Because he's like, yeah, you're right. I kind of did just like. That was excessive. I melted a lot of. I'm like short of breath. I had to take a nap.
Yeah.
I think he was breathing fire about as long as he did nuking King's Landing to melt the throne.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I love that symbolism, man. I love that he melts the throne. I love that he grabs her and takes off. Yeah, dude. I will say, I know you guys
Dany sequel.
At least
That's
Mike's
the
into
snow.
like
That's the snow sequel.
Yeah, that it could be, man. But there's a YouTube channel called Talking Thrones that did majority of these videos that we were talking about earlier. What am I looking for here? Theories. Thank you. Theories. He wrote a full season 9, and I'm telling you, it's lit. It is lit.
It's lit.
He has 10 45-minute episodes on his YouTube channel. Go watch it. It's awesome.
He just talks through them, or
he talks through them.
Okay.
Yep.
Man.
Talks through them. Shows. I mean, he uses past footage
Sure.
to kind of try to show what he's doing.
That's cool.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. At this point, I was like, okay. They play a lot into Dany being the mother of dragons and how protective the dragons are of Dany. And when she locks them up, they talk about how like Chad said, they're smart and they're intelligent. So like again, all that's playing to me into like the relationship with Dany. So Jon kills Dany, and I'm like, oh yes, Dany didn't kill Jon,
but the dragon.
But he's about to get nuked.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean.
I would have been okay either way.
If Jon has to die, this makes sense. Like, okay, I'm cool with this. But then he just melted the throne, and I get the symbolism, and I get dragons are intelligent, but like, it's still an animal. Like, is it going to have the mental capacity to have that kind of thought process of like, obviously, the reason my mother died is because of this chair made of swords, so I'm going to burn that. I don't buy it. I still think it's kind of a little lame.
You make an interesting point in that while his current ending makes sense, that ending makes sense though too, right? It might make more sense because he already died, got back to life. He shouldn't be alive in the first place, so you might as well just like melt him, and that would have been nice and wrapped up in a bow.
Because he hasn't finished his story, because he's got to go actually kill the real leader of the White Walkers that never came south, because he figured the Night King, my boy, could have handled the shit.
I hope the real leader of the night, or I hope the real leader.
It's actually Vecna. It's been Vecna the whole time.
Thank you. That's where I was going with. I was like, it's one of those like crazy, ash like shadow.
I just want to see
things.
some like badass ice castle up north, because there's somewhere they came from. So, dude, there's no way. I'm sorry. I'm going out. I'm pulling out the theories already. 100%. Snow is going to have something to do with the White Walkers. There's no other story to tell there. What are they going to do?
White Walker Dany.
And I would not be shocked. Here, dude, people are not dead in this show until they're dead and burnt. And she was flown away by a dragon. At the end, when Bronn asks, like, has anybody seen Drogon? Somebody says he was last seen flying, but I couldn't hear where.
I think over the place that he was flying before.
Yeah, I don't know
When
because
Tyrion and
because I know that
he's flown Nick.
I know that the Red Women have like a castle somewhere, and it's in Valor or whatever the name of the place
Valyria?
is. No, not Valyria. So I don't know, dude. Like they left a lot open there with Dany for sure.
I just want to see Lord Bronn rolling over Highgarden. That just seems like a good like sitcom.
Yeah.
Brothels are important. That was a great conversation.
Oh yeah,
like
so good.
Them just bickering over just like
Yeah,
all that stuff.
I love that final team there. It's so good.
Yeah. At first I was like, how the heck, like, why would you put Bronn? And I was like, oh yeah, because Tyrion was like, if I don't die, like Lannisters always pay their debts or whatever.
Yeah,
So
I
like,
love
all
that
right,
he's like, is the debt repaid?
yeah. And the fact that he is the Lord of Coin is just so fitting. Oh, this was sorry. We were talking about the small council. Sam is a maester, finally.
Yeah.
Amazing. Another gripe that I didn't actually think of until I was talking with my boss earlier today about the finale. You cannot convince me that Sam would have been okay and not thrown a fit or put up a fight about banishing Jon.
It's not an option. It's not an option. Here, and I'll tell you.
And Jon would have told him to just deal with it, Sam. It's fine.
Sure, it's no option. But like, it's not an option. We forget that he is a Targaryen. We get that he's been Jon Snow for the entire series. He is a Targaryen. The Targaryens just finished doing the most heinous shit the kingdom has ever seen. So Jon, the people that want Jon on the throne at the end, not even a possibility. Nobody in
I'm
the
not
world
even
is gonna
talking about
accept that.
It's just the fact that he's like, yeah, just banish Jon.
What other option is there? The Dothraki are not going to give him up until that's the option.
Jon and Sam are best buds.
They wanted to prevent war.
They're the only friends that each other had.
We just got through the most heinous war that we've seen ever.
Maybe a Targaryen, but he literally stopped the tyrant.
Did Jon seem upset at all about being?
No, but it just didn't make sense for Sam's character. That's my gripe. It doesn't make sense that Sam would.
I don't know that Sam has an option, to be honest with you.
Sam's a maester. He's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but every other instance of people going against Jon, he's stood up for Jon. But not here.
Okay. Yeah, but he's not standing up against people at the Night's Watch. He's standing up.
Crime.
Yeah,
he legitimately committed a crime.
Yeah.
I get it.
And his family line is tarnished for forever because of what Dany did. So
yeah, and Jon killed Dany.
Right.
So that should give him a notch up with Sam.
But the Dothraki are right on the heels. Or not the Dothraki, I'm sorry. The Unsullied.
Dothraki and the Unsullied.
Like they're ready to go to war.
It just seems very out of character for Sam.
I get what you're saying.
Not saying that Sam putting up a fuss about it would change anything, or that Sam doesn't recognize the threat of not banishing Jon. I just have a hard time seeing him being like, yeah, let's banish Jon.
Yeah.
But has he done that since he's had a woman?
I don't know.
He's got different priorities now.
Yeah.
Best friend.
That is also true.
Yeah.
I'm getting that.
And I think this is really primarily the rush of the season. Like that probably was a scene that got cut. You know what I mean?
Right. So. I mean, because I don't even know if we actually see the whole banishment decision play out, right? So, but that just, he brought up a good point that I didn't think about before, because before this conversation, I didn't even think of that. Like, I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But after he said it, I'm like, you know what? You're right. Because Sam's a good guy, and it's made, again, very, very clear throughout the entire series that Jon is Sam's family, right? They're the two best friends that anyone ever had. But anyways, I don't want to tie up
another bit that caught me off guard and is like what really drove home a lot of stuff for me was, you mentioned it before, was Brienne's finishing of Jaime's story in
So
Captain of the
good.
Kingsguard book. One, I love that whole bit in whatever season that was, where they kind of expanded on that whole concept. And Jamie was kind of spending most of the season like, I need more stuff, like my legacy, like it's all there. So when she started writing that, like that's like intense, because
Yeah.
here that brought Jamie now back from his, I'm a shitbag, I'm gonna go die with my sister. Like she wrote his story. Those words are basically what he will be known for. The same way
Right.
Tyrion was left out of the Maester's like history of the war,
Yeah.
as a joke. But Jamie, like she solidified him as like what I said earlier, as like he was like the last knight of that era, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
and passed it to her, and that was
And
just a great
even
moment.
did that like after the heartbreak that
Yep.
happened.
And she
Brienne.
ended it with he died protecting his queen, which is a
Yes.
true statement.
So good, man.
Yeah,
Love
that was a good scene for sure.
Yeah. And I was like, I completely forgot about that book. And like that's how you, and that's what makes Jamie like my favorite character for the whole
Hey,
series.
perfect transition. Well, do you want to real quickly just, what do you guys think about Bran being king? Did that catch you guys off guard when it happened?
He's not really king. Just like in the small council room, he just kind of rolled up. He's like, all right, you guys go do that stuff. I'm going to go like find.
I'm going to
whatever.
go get
I think he's
wasted.
I think
Go
he's
work out
the logical choice moving forward. I don't know who else would have. I do like when the cousin stands up to
Oh my God,
try and
so
take
good.
it. There, it says like just sit down.
Yeah, that was great. And then he
Uncle,
like
sit
hits
down.
his sword on the
Yeah.
post. And he goes,
Yeah, so good. Yeah, I
honestly forgot that guy was still alive.
So did I. Yeah.
Everyone did. He wasn't at any of the fights either. Like, where's he been hanging out?
And also, did you notice Robin is there as well?
Yeah,
The
and
old
he's
older,
like really
same
big
actor.
now.
Yeah,
like,
not
huge.
as like weird.
yeah, still a little weird.
A little weird, but
yeah, I think it's a logical choice. Like we're dealing with a gentle king who can see and do pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I
Caught
think.
me really off guard.
Did it really? Yeah.
Mhm.
Who would you put?
I mean, I was assuming that there's be like, yeah, Jon Snow.
Yeah.
But then for a second, I was like, no, because he's kind of in hot doo-doo right now.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any idea. But then when they did Bran there, I was like, no, what?
Yeah.
and he's like, that's why I came all this way.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you sly little doggy.
Yeah, you a little bugger. But you
Arya?
brought up favorite characters.
Oh yeah.
So no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and that's where Bran is, but like Arya going west.
Yeah.
And
What's
this
west Westeros?
Yeah, and what was it? I think it was Bran the Builder. Some other Stark went west of Westeros. So it's been theorized there could be like an Arya Stark spinoff where she's like doing cool stuff out there with a lineage of Starks that made a new life. And then Sansa just being like, I don't know, she kind of like, I get it, but like she's kind of like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of her still.
I hate her.
But I get it. But like she's kind of a sleazeball for like making.
Yeah.
She's a sleazeball how she went about the whole like North should be free. Like
Right,
I get it, but like the whole time she's just like kind of Littlefinger, but like less creepy.
Ladyfinger.
Ladyfinger, yeah.
Ladyfinger.
I did like the cool little montage of them like suiting up, I guess.
Yes, all the Starks.
That was really, really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Favorite
you brought
characters.
up favorite characters and best characters. I mean, it's going to be really hard for us to not spend a lot of time on that, but let's not spend a lot of time on that because I'm a sleepy boy and it's already midnight.
Yeah.
I wrote down 3 of my best characters.
Whoa.
And I say this in order of, or in not order, but my reasoning being like they were very well developed over the series and had great arcs. Jamie, obviously, we've talked that into the ground. Theon, honestly, is one of my candidates for best characters. He's a scumbag, like despicable up until like his final scene. But the way that I just enjoyed how they wrote him out and how he was played. I mean, you hate him up until that last moment when he has his redemption.
Yeah.
So good growth in my opinion. And this one might be way out of left field and something we didn't really talk about at all. But I would Ladyfinger, somebody stab him, please. Oh, I'm glad we're doing this remote. Varys, honestly, I think as a character, starts out as quite a scumbag. But as the show goes on, you start to see the underlying motive behind his drive to do the things he does. And at the end of the day, the dude, honestly, like truly, just wants what's best for the realm.
Yeah.
And he takes that down to his final moments where he gets nuked by the dragon, right?
Good death scene.
Yeah, it's just.
And poor Tyrion, like he even said it, like best friend, like I killed him. I had him killed.
Yeah.
But a character I thought I wouldn't ever really like or come to care about turned out to be somebody that surprised me.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as favorites, I mean, I love Jon Snow. I love Arya. Tormund is a sleeper for me. Love that dude. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know.
You're in luck then, because I think there's 0 chance we don't see him in the Snow sequel. He's definitely coming back.
I love Tormund.
Yeah, he's coming back for sure.
What about you guys?
Go ahead, Nick.
Like I said, Jaime, big favorite of mine. I don't agree with the Theon thing. He annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree with you. Yeah.
I'll say Cersei. I'm a big fan of Cersei. So basically all the Lannisters. I just love the Lannisters, and I said very early on I'm House Lannister to Mike's surprise, but I think early on, like they're underestimated. Like they make it like all the way to the end, and Tyrion's like once again hand of the king at the very end. Like that poor guy like can't get away from it. And I like how they play that as like that's your punishment. Like
yeah, I love
fix
that.
all the stuff you broke.
So
dude.
good, so good. Yeah.
So, I like Bronn. I like Bronn a lot. I would say, yeah, it's those three. It's like the Lannisters and Bronn. Like that is just a fun group right there. Yeah, I'll say with that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to somewhat agree with you on this. Jamie's my pick for favorite arc, without question. I think he's got the best arc.
I think that's like unanimous decision right there.
Unanimous, 100%. You deserve better, bro. I apologize. Hopefully we see you again sometime.
Yeah, maybe like best concept for a character goes to the old Night King.
I would say the same thing with John. Like you deserve better, bro. Like, but like, I will agree with people. Like the way he ends, like overall, and like this season, like you deserve better, bro.
I agree because really, at the end of the day, the Targaryen thing really meant nothing whatsoever. And that was a lot of build up and a lot throughout the season. So I love Jon Snow as a character 100%. And this is going to shock you because the character I love watching on screen the absolute most is Tywin Lannister. Every scene that he's in, I can't stop watching it. I think he's acted so great. All his Arya scene, every scene he's in is amazing. So
what about the hot pie arc though?
Hot pie, bro.
Yeah.
I thought he died. I really thought he died.
No,
he doesn't die.
No, he just sat in that freaking inn and kept eating his
Dude,
pies. He was making
perfected the wolf design.
Yep, and ate everyone that he didn't.
Yeah,
apparently,
which was a lot. Apparently.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, we can't forget about the Hound. He's one of the best characters, I think, too. What a fantastic character he. But did you have any more?
Yeah, no. I mean, I love Oberyn for what he's in it for. I think he's
if it wasn't just one season,
if it wasn't just one
up there, but
I just between him and Tywin, man, I could watch. Like if I was to pick 2 characters to watch the rest of my life, it'd be those 2. I just love every time they're on scene, man. I don't know what it is.
shout out Last of Us.
Yeah.
Old Joel.
Can't wait.
Pedro Pascal and Lady Mormont playing Ellie.
Jamie could have played Joel.
Yeah, it's an
Actually,
odd,
weren't
it's an odd
there
cast.
pictures online? Because
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
that would be good.
It's an odd cast, but my hang up with it is that I love him as an actor. So I'm like, okay, man, like I'm here for it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really glad we did this. It was fun. And
can't believe
surprisingly,
we made it all the way through.
you know, it wasn't a random act of episode ideas. You know, we have the House of the Dragon series starting Sunday. You guys had the first companion series episode
On Monday. We'll be back. This has been a heavy Game of Thrones, Song of Fire and Ice, Blood and Fire, all that stuff. This week for me and Chad.
For sure. Yep.
Joe says, you can't forget Hodor. That's right.
That was a big moment. Time travel and weird stuff like that. Love it.
Yes. But no, thank you guys for forcing me to watch the show. It was great. I always figured I'd probably like it. But much like Star Wars, I'm nonconformist in my youth. I was like, everyone thinks it's cool. It's probably stupid. No, it's great. I loved it. I think Throwback Thursdays will be a thing that we do not frequently, but often. We gotta do Mr. Robot now, and then for Nick, like we gotta make him watch Breaking Bad.
I kind of feel like that might be the next thing, because I kind of really want to rewatch it, and I never watched the other. What's the other show?
Mr. Robot.
No, not Mr. Robot. The other Breaking
Better
Bad
Call
show.
Saul.
Better Call Saul. I never watched that,
Yeah.
so I'd love to
Me
dive
neither.
back into that universe.
Yeah. So those are two potential Throwback Thursday series that we might do breaking into the new year.
Awesome.
Make sure you guys tune in Monday for House of the Dragon companion series. If you're into the Game of Thrones medieval fantasy type stuff, we are starting the Dungeons and Dragons campaign on Sunday night at 8 p.m. over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Showboys Podcast. It's going to be a fun time. We got a lot of lore being uploaded to our website, showboysmedia.com. We're introducing characters, locations, all this stuff, building this massive, expansive universe, all from the beautiful mind of the one and only Ugly Kid Joe Cross. It's going to be a blast. Make sure you tune in. We're having an interactive campaign, so you guys as viewers can spend your channel points on our Twitch channel for ways to affect the gameplay, which is really cool. I just set up all the channel point redemptions today. It's going to be a blast. 8 o'clock Sunday night. Otherwise, we'll see you here next Thursday. And enjoy this banger remix of the Game of Thrones theme song one final time. Have a wonderful night.
Monsters are dangerous, and just now kings are dying like flies.
I am the king!
Fuck the king. Knowledge is power.
Targaryen chant. Tywin Lannister.
Your Grace.
Grandfather, tell me about the Targaryen girl and her dragons.
The skull of the last of them was right here. It was the size of an apple.
The biggest was the size of a carriage.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Dracarys.
Afraid of a dead horse.
The Red Woman. Eric Dondarrion. The Wrath of Men. Feeling pain. The Mountain.
Would you shut up?
The Hound.
And now their watch is ended.
Our watches ended,
Dude, I was gonna say that.
right? So appropriate.
Man,
It's all over, Mike. Isn't it sad?
it is.
It's got to be.